me a hell yeah. Give me a hell yeah. Give me a hell yeah.
You know what time it is.
Bless up. Bless up.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, they tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings. Big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the pod, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the thing. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo.
We are live!
Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, that's my
Happy
favorite show.
Thursday night. Yes, a little night chat.
Deuce and Mo.
How's everybody doing?
Do it for Deuce.
Morgan, how are you, man?
I'm good.
What up, Deuce?
What's going on?
Hey, Morgan.
Hi.
I'm rooting for y'all.
Thank you.
Damn right.
Let's go, gang.
You know, it's been a while since we've done a real night chat. We did just chat, but like a real night chat where we like kind of open it up to the people, right? Like where we actually go,
Okay.
hey, hop on Discord.
That's
We got
fair.
the Twitter Spaces rolling. We're just hanging out and talking. This
Fair.
isn't a podcast. We're just hanging out.
I love that you say that, and it's so true. But I love how you say it because you just want people to know that if this was a podcast, it would have a lot more structure. We do a lot more different things, but it's not. It's just chatting / night chat.
Yeah.
Which means obviously call in, chat. Let's go.
Yeah. So we've got Twitter Spaces rolling. How long are we going to be on? I don't know. We're just hanging out, see how it goes. What's up, Brian? What's up, Chris? Shout out Deuce. My girl reached out to Deuce about the hat he's wearing. She surprised me with it on my birthday.
That's so sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, she slid it in my DMs. Kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
oh,
I'm
you
glad you
wanted
got
that?
it, dude. Yeah, I know. I've gotten a lot of questions about this hat. Just found out the King's Team store.
Yeah. No, it's I someone else just tweeted about your hat too.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was Kyle Madsen. He said that hat saucy AF.
Thank you very much. We'll take it. Is it officially a night chat if we don't play the night chat thing? It's been a while. Let's get it started.
Let's do it.
Actually, I have to get in Discord, make sure we're good to go too. Let's do that. Send that out to our huge Discord community. Hop in Night Chat. Let's get it officially started. Deuce and Mo Night Chat coming down in 3, 2, 1.
Night Chat with Deuce and Mo. It is so lit, it is so great. Night Chat with Deuce and Mo. Time to celebrate or commiserate. Raise your cup, give a thumbs up, and don't be the schmuck who gives the only thumbs down. Night Chat with Deuce and Mo is on right now.
It is Night Chat with Deuce and Mo, where we talk to you, Deuce bags of morons, or as I like to call them, disciples. What are we talking about tonight? It's a great question. I think we could talk a little bit about everything. What's going on in the NBA? What's going on in life, if you want.
Oh, is there anything going on in your life
I don't
that you
know.
want to talk
I have
about?
wrestling. If you want to talk some Kings, we could do that too. It's just it's a chance for us to just kind of come together, hang out, and chat.
Well, there's obviously, it's funny. I know it's August and the NBA is technically not around,
Yeah.
but it always seems around. And I've had a lot of fun hate watching things. And no, not here, but like in other places, people talking about their teams, and it's August. I love it so much, Deuce.
I saw something today that just further illustrated to me where we're at in NBA conversation right now. Because I was kind of joking about like some of the topics people are hitting on right now. It's like, hey man, who do you like more? Dellavedova or Cook? Hey, who's winning that third point guard battle? Like,
Hey.
I love that conversation. I love it because Sacramento's different and they actually have that conversation. But I
Yeah.
also hate it because it's like, all right, yeah, it's like two guys who are trying to like make it back to the league and show something. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But Zach Harper posted something. He reshared something today that caught my attention. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? Are we going a little too far in this? This guy on TikTok, I don't even know who this guy is. He posted this. Just watch this, okay? So basically, you know, people do starting lineups all the time. I'm just going to hit play. I'm just going to let the video do the talking here.
All right, making a starting lineup using deceased players that are no longer with us. RIP to all these guys. What do we got
What?
first?
Right? Right?
Wait, it just seems so
Dark, weird.
yes.
Out of all the things you could do, like, hey, let's pick up the best lineups from the 90s, or hey, the best Bulls lineups or Lakers lineups. Let's go with, hey, I got an idea. Let's construct a starting five of deceased players.
And there's some too soon, too tragic. No.
For sure, but you haven't even seen the rest.
Oh.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
Deceased players. Anthony Mason. I remember him dying not too long ago. Anthony Mason was an important player on a successful 90s Knicks team.
I love that he's like justifying his pick of Anthony Mason as his selection.
No need. No, he's serious too.
Oh, I know. That's why it's weird.
Warrior, Wilt Chamberlain, easy. Give me Wilt Chamberlain. Much like Anthony Mason, Wilt Chamberlain died of a heart attack. Fuck heart attacks.
I
Fuck
think we
heart
can all
attacks.
agree. Hey, fuck heart attacks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He's winning me back now. All
Give me
right.
Drazen Petrovic. Drazen Petrovic was just starting to catch on before he died in a car wreck.
Okay.
Celtics, wow, there's so many things I could do here. Bill
Yeah.
Russell just died, but we already got big men. How about Len Bias? He never even stepped on the court. He was a second overall pick and never played a game. Last pick, I need a point guard who is no longer alive. What do we got? Hawks? Pete Maravich? He died during a pickup basketball game. Heart attack. I know he's a 2. I'm going to put him at the 1. RIP.
He's not trolling.
I don't feel good after that. You know what's funny? I saw that and I saw Zach Harper tweet that and I was like, oh, I have to watch this. And I was going to watch it even before we came on and I never did. And oh my God.
That's not the only weird thing that happened death-wise today. This one, it's one thing on TikTok, but something else happened tonight. I'm not going to play the audio because copyright reasons.
Okay.
But, you know, they're doing the Field of Dreams game on Fox today where they're in like the middle of nowhere in a cornfield playing a Major League Baseball game. Pretty cool thing. The Cubs are playing the Reds on Fox. So, of course, hey, take me out to the ball game. How should we do take me out to the ball game? Everyone's looking around like, oh, I got an idea. How about we have everyone do it? Oh, maybe you get Kevin Costner to do it or some people from the movie. No. It's the Cubs. Let's do a Harry Carey hologram. All right, so just watch this video, Morgan. I briefly watched the start of this, okay? So
is it Harry Carey actually singing it too?
Just watch, Morgan.
But,
yes.
Okay. Well, I know we're not playing the audio, so I was just like confirming.
You will see it.
Why is everyone so fascinated with like everyone that has passed? Like that is so weird, Deuce. That is so weird.
I'm glad you feel
like
that
it's
way.
not a tribute, you guys. All of these things are not tributes to these people.
Whoa, look at the clap. What is the clap? Also, if you're going to bust out the hologram, can we get the technology in order? Can we get the technology in order for it to look like super real? Not.
And his hands are really small.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy. Not cool. Creepy. I will need the chat to weigh in on this if you're on Twitch and YouTube.
That was like honestly, that was all very unsettling. I did not know our conversation was going to go straight into like morbid zone.
Well, this is where we're at in the off season for people with basketball conversation. Then, of course, with that Harry Carey stuff, someone just said, I can't even watch. That was Clint. They did that for Tupac at Coachella for you. Marcus, I remember that. They did that for Tupac.
Uh-huh.
That was what, like almost, God, it was like almost a decade ago, it seems. But you notice that hasn't come back since. You notice like they're not like in a rush to bring it back. It's not like they're doing that all the time now. I don't think people need to see that.
Wait, no, the only other... You're wrong. You're missing one. I got the best one. Kanye West brought back Kim Kardashian's dad in hologram form and said the best thing that you ever did was marry this man or...
I forgot.
So yeah, holograms, Kanye West did it. They're not cool.
Kanye West brought out a Robert Shapiro hologram for Kim Kardashian, her deceased father. That's where we're at. It was a Tupac one. Kanye brings back Bob Shapiro, and then tonight, I don't know if it's a Major League Baseball thing, MLB on Fox. I don't know what it is, but they bring back Harry Carey to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Like you would have been better off putting like Harry running an old video of him. Why do we need the hologram?
Yeah, I don't like any of these things that we've shown so far. It's just not. It's not my holograms. And then talking about what team would make the best deceased players. Like, it's just so weird.
It is bizarre. I do want to know if you're hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you guys being here. Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed. Also, if you're on Twitch, hit the follow button. If you want, I dropped the Discord link in our chat. And if you want to join the voice chat, we could take some voice calls tonight. And we're also on Twitter Spaces. We got a few people on Twitter Spaces right now. So if you want to join the conversation, talk about like whatever you want, Kings, NBA, it's night chat. We're just chilling. We're just hanging out, having a good time with our people.
Yeah, just chilling, talking about some dead people right now, I guess. But, what else are you going to do on a Thursday night?
I just think it's so... I don't know that anyone watched it and goes, that's really cool. Also, like, just make the technology almost perfect if you're going to bust it out. Because then it just looks weird. It looks like a bad, like...
Yeah.
You go at Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland.
Here's my question. If you were not here... and someone was like, oh, man, somehow, Deuce, you were just so great and everyone loved you somehow.
Yeah, very.
So this does not sound realistic at all.
Oh, Morgan, if I died tomorrow. No, think about it. If I died tomorrow.
I'm not doing this.
It's okay. I'm not going to die tomorrow.
No, but either way, I don't want to.
If I did play this clip, because I would be laughing at the fact that he died tomorrow after talking about it.
Okay, stop.
But it would be all over, right?
Wait. Would you want a hologram version of yourself at your funeral?
No, I don't need a hologram. That's weird.
Okay, so my overall question was going to be though, like truly, if one day someone was like, yeah, there's going to be a hologram of you, but they're choosing what you say.
Yeah,
they're choosing
right?
what you do, and
Well,
that's the
no,
part.
A little different. I mean, the Bob Shapiro one.
Yeah.
But
That's weird.
I don't know how they actually. But
what are you gonna do? You're not.
They took the Harry Carey audio from when he's done. Take me out to the ball game.
No,
it's
no.
not like they like. Hey,
but
let's.
with you, it's not like they're gonna be like, oh, let's take that moment that Deuce tried singing a song on the podcast. Like,
Right.
They're just putting words in your mouth, and you're a hologram, and you have no choice. I just would never want a hologram made of myself. I think it's very strange.
Do you want a big funeral? Or are you?
No. I want to put me into ashes and no funeral at all.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
You don't. That's weird. You don't want a family like service? Like
No, I'd rather have my family like party it up and like
Okay.
not spend money on like a funeral. You know what I mean? Don't spend money on an urn. Put me in a mason jar and then spread me out like somewhere.
a Deuce Mason jar?
No. Just a.
Can we start selling
glass
Deuce
jar.
Mason mason jars on the Deuce and Mo website?
We just
Just
take
with our
we
logo?
just take mason jars and
Yeah.
we shove Deuce above the mason. Yeah. That sounds like a great idea. Ooh.
Let's get to some people in the chat. It
Okay.
is night chat. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us tonight. Again, if you want to hop in the conversation, you could do in the live chat, but you can do the voice chat on Discord. You can hop on Twitter Spaces and request to talk too. All right, let's go to, let's see here. You're so right, Silva. I don't know
What?
why I was calling. Morgan, how did you not correct me on this?
What'd you say?
I was calling Kim Kardashian's father, Robert Kardashian. I was calling him Robert Shapiro.
You were, and even when you were saying that, I was like, when I said Kim Kardashian's dad, I was like, oh, do
was
I
the
have
only-
his name wrong?
Silva's the only one who corrected me, and I knew that. And it's sad
I just
that-
wasn't confident with it.
And why do I know Bob Shapiro's name? Because I, as
Yeah.
a young child, have vivid memories of my mom watching every single day of the O.J. Simpson
So
trial
weird.
and knowing all the fact that I can name the attorneys and
Yeah, that's weird.
sad, right? Yeah,
Like you
My
shouldn't
bad.
be. I think it's fine to be exposed to certain things as a child, but to be like in it as a child, the fact that you vividly remember the trials, OJ and the
Oh, yeah.
Bronco as a child,
the
like
glove.
yeah, like
the fact that after he was acquitted, my mom had a sign in the window that just said guilty. She wrote a sign that said guilty in the apartment window, in our apartment complex, because that makes sense.
weird, so weird.
A curse says, my biggest fear of dying is inconveniencing other people. Also, we need to move on from the death stuff. I just
I'm with
realized.
you, Kurt. It's like then you make people sad, and it's like no, be happy, like live on, man. It's gonna be good.
Can Deuce name every team's arena?
Ooh, I thought you used to be able to.
They just change so often now. I used to be able to, but
Well, then don't bring it up if you can't.
if anything, we need a Macho King versus Ultimate Warrior WrestleMania hologram, or just watch an old match, right?
A hologram. The hologram would be so awful of that. Just look at what their hologram technology now.
Okay, I'm not reading this from Homer James.
What?
Is your mom putting that sign out for OJ or for your dad? We got some people waiting. Let's kick things off in Discord before we go to Twitter Spaces. We'll kick things off tonight on Night Chat with our guy, Manny. What's up, man?
Deuce and Mo?
Oh, you know what? I gotta be honest. It's just. I was talking about this the other day with some people on Discord, but also just like on YouTube and with Morgan. Is during the season we're always on at night, and then off season comes and we do the podcast, and we don't. It's not as interactive in terms of voice calls,
Sure.
right? It's not post game. I miss doing some of these night chats, and I miss Manny. I kind of missed your voice.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, what's going on with you tonight?
I'm working.
Oh my!
I just
what?
got a promotion, so I'm kind of like trying to fidget. But I got you guys. So
It's interesting. I got a promotion. I'm working, but I am calling into a podcast
Absolutely.
random night chat.
Hell
Hey,
yeah!
I've been working since 5 a.m., so I need a little bit of a break.
Hey,
damn.
hey, don't overwork yourself. One, wait, two, congratulations on the promotion. But three,
Thank you.
do not do the whole thing where like you work more than what you get paid for and stuff because no place will ever value you as much as you will value yourself.
Wow, life advice
Yeah,
from Morgan.
where did that come from?
What a sage. I love it. I love it.
Oh, man, dude, congrats. Though. That's awesome, man.
Thanks, man. Just trying to get everything situated, but in a couple of weeks it'll slow down, so it's cool.
Do you kind of miss NBA basketball right now, or are you doing okay?
I miss it because my NFL team isn't worth a damn, so I am not looking forward to football season at all. I'm just counting down the days for basketball.
Yeah, dude, preseason's here October 3rd. I'm ready for that. I'm excited for NBA season 2. Although I'm a little confused by some of the stuff I'm reading right now because like David Aldridge today had the Kings off season ranked 6th overall, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But then you look at some of the projections. One, Caesar's Sportsbook just came out with a new over-under on the Kings season, 32.5. ESPN's experts project 34 wins. And I got to be honest, I'm like, I've never been more convinced that these people are wrong. And I'm not even trying to act like they're out of touch. It's just, I'm shocked at how low it is. It's like, I'm not even expecting some of these, Vegas or anyone to go crazy with the win total. I'm not saying this should be a 40, but like for it to be that low, and then for some of these ESPN projections to be at 34, it just surprises me.
Let me ask you a question about that, right? If there was never a California Classic, if you just went, it was the draft, whatever they picked up,
Okay.
and that was it until preseason, right? If you didn't get a look at Keegan, if you didn't, like, where would you be right now and how you feel about where they're going to be going?
That's a good question. I'd like Keegan, but I can't deny that seeing him perform at a good level in Summer League got me excited. But I'm not just excited about King season because of Keegan Murray. It's the other. I mean, I like the pickup of Malik Monk. I like adding Kevin Herter. They got better.
I agree. I didn't. I'll be honest. Overall, with the draft, like I still am puzzled by. I was puzzled by not taking advantage of those second round picks. I always feel like if you're not a team that's like my all those top teams that were really second round picks are just going to sit on the bench anyway. They're already established.
Yeah.
And you're one of those last teams that like I always feel like why not find Jimmy Butler in the second round? Why not?
Yeah, dude.
Take a chance on those guys.
That was probably the one that surprised me most was that, they had that early second rounder and then it was Jade Hardy and they ended up trading it to Dallas. So, yeah, I was surprised they didn't take a chance on someone like that too. But like
overall,
that was not going to dictate how I felt about the offseason. If we're upset about this offseason because they didn't pick in the second round, I mean, that's not that big of a deal. Now, if I would feel completely different right now if we were sitting here, God, all they did was draft Keegan and they didn't really pick anyone else up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be concerned.
Well, wait, you guys, you know what else is interesting too, though?
What else, Morgan?
When ESPN, they put out there that this team was going to be a 26-win team. That season, I believe, ended up being the 39-win season, I believe. And it was one of the lowest ones that
Wait, I'm sorry. You said, what was the first number you said?
ESPN put out 26-win season.
Yeah. Well,
And that season ended up being the 39-win season. If I believe it was that season.
right. And so with that, something like that one, no one thought the Kings were going to
No.
be good that year.
No.
Like, nobody. Not even like the biggest. I mean, maybe there are some homers out there. Maybe our guy Homer James, who's watching us in Chicago tonight, thought that. But like, no. I mean, it was a young team. You had young-ass players.
But I guess my point is, you guys, it's like some of these Vegas and ESPN, I personally feel like they're just going off of not only Yeah, and when I say history, and obviously it's like, oh, but the team has changed. It's a better team. Sure. But they're going off of history of the organization, of how things have been run, and how other teams are obviously in the Western Conference. It's just a lot they have to overcome.
Again, I understand all that. You just nailed everything you just said. It's still too low.
Yeah.
Like if Vegas was at 35 right now, I'd be like, I still think that's low, but I'm like, okay, that's reasonable. I mean, they were at 36.5 last year. Is their team this year better than last year? Like if just on paper, look at the start of last year to now, and so it doesn't add up. It's not, the West didn't get that dramatically better. Sure, there are teams. The West is stacked. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of good teams in the NBA in general. How many bad teams are in the league that you go, oh my God, just awful? It's probably like 4.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. Like, I think they're on the cusp of that. But for me, this upcoming year, it might sound like, oh, you should look. I just want to see the gel. I want to see the improvement. I want to see Fox take that next step. I want to see Davion take that next step, and just see like that there is a cohesive unit getting to that point of like, even if at the end of the next season, oh man, they almost made it, but they didn't. But like, if the whole season we're excited, if the whole season we're just enjoying watching them play basketball, like that's where it's at. And then whatever else after that, like, hey man, like at the end of that season, oh man, I can't wait till next year. Like, man, I can see what's going on. They just need this one more player, or they need to like just keep us engaged. For the love of God, keep us engaged.
I'm with you.
It'd make our life easier together on Night Chat, right?
God.
Coming on Night Chat and talking about some wins.
Absolutely.
And then Morgan trying to keep me down because I'll probably be like, if the Kings are even remotely good this year, I'm going to be like, hey, I could see this team upsetting in the first round. Morgan's going to have to talk me down a lot.
If the Kings make the playoffs this year, I am going to Vegas and taking the 1 pound cereal challenge.
Wait, whoa. What's the 1 pound cereal challenge in Vegas?
So there is a place, there's a couple locations. They opened up in one in Arizona too. It's called the Serial Killer's Kitchen. Okay. And what they do is there's a 1 hour, I think it's an hour or 45-minute challenge where they put a pound of cereal with a gallon of milk. I think it's a gallon of milk, and you have that amount of time to finish that. And if you finish it, you don't pay for your challenge, and they give you a t-shirt basically.
Two questions. Wait. Two questions. Two questions. Do you get to pick your milk choice, and do you get to pick your cereal choice?
Great question.
You do get to pick the milk choice.
Great.
But I'm not sure about the cereal. I think they do, but it just has to eat. I know for sure it equals a pound.
Okay, so here's my question.
Yeah. What?
Is a pound, how much is a pound? Like, how many bags is a pound? Because I feel like a pound of cereal is a lot.
It is a lot.
So look, I have a video of one of the challenges. I'll put it on Twitter, and I'll tag you guys.
Please,
so you can see what it takes.
Because
I'm planning on doing a whole mockumentary on it. Like, I'm going to do a whole journey.
Well, you should. Yes. I don't know why you haven't started on it already. But here's my thing with cereal.
Many questions.
Manny, as you're a cereal expert, God, we talked about death, the Kings, and cereal. This is why I've missed Night Chat. Here's my thing with cereal. I can't really have a lot in the house because I will go through a box in a day.
Well,
easy.
And
I have no discipline.
That was going to be my point. Is I could eat. It's in my mind, but I need to see what a pound is. In my mind, I could eat a pound of cereal in an hour and 45 because I'm the same way where like, yeah, I can eat. And here's the other thing. Is it the type of cereal that gets a little soggy, or is it the type of cereal that stays crunchy? Because the crunchy, that's like, then we get to a point where my tongue starts to hurt. But if it's the soggy, it's like, yeah, you can start drinking that shit, you know? God, that's I'm gross.
True. So let's see that. See, now these are things I'm going to have to address now.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And you better start filming yourself for your mockumentary every morning when you wake up.
I'm going to be doing training. I'm going to do interviews. Like, I'm going to do the whole like 10-part Michael Jordan and the Bulls dynasty. Yeah, the whole thing.
Oh, that is amazing, Manny. Thanks for checking in, man.
Yeah, you're the
congrats
best.
on the promotion.
I love you guys.
I love you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for Manny. If you want to check in, hop in Discord. We're going to go to Twitter Spaces in a second. I do want to get to the people chatting. Shout out to our guy Brett, by the way. He donated $20.
Brett, appreciate the love, dude.
Thanks for the Night Chat while I work late. Heading to the Westgate to lay down the over tomorrow on the Kings. Wow. Okay, you're confident in that. Okay.
That's Wow.
Hack says, "What's up with the clowns roasting Deuce's dad the last couple of days?" I don't. Is anyone? I've missed this. Have people been roasting him?
And if they are, do you care?
No.
Exactly.
Let's see here. I think people nationwide underestimate how important it is that we plugged our biggest hole from last year. That's from JVZ. Talking about the Kings. Joe says 46 wins.
What is he saying? The biggest hole?
Probably shooting, I'm guessing.
That's what I would guess is
one of the
JVZ
biggest
is
holes.
saying.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That's to me like. But yes, and you're absolutely right. Where it could so much be the biggest hole in the sense of how much it opens up the floor on the offensive end, right? But then defensively, that's like right there with one of the biggest holes, though, because that's the other part of the game that you just have to execute on such a higher level.
Clint says, "Man, I do want that hat, Deuce. Is it fitted?" No, it's a snapback. I'm not doing many fitted hats anymore, to be honest.
I also saw, I forget who it was, but they said I could eat 1 pound of Fruity Pebbles. That would be easy. And I'm with you.
I actually think that's one of the more difficult ones. Well, just from a texture I just remember
that it's a great texture.
You know
you
what?
can drink it like a milkshake.
Here's why I say that, Morgan. This I've mentioned this
Such a
before,
fatty.
but this is probably the weirdest. I don't know, man. Maybe other people who grew up poor like I did can relate.
What?
We didn't drink milk with our cereal. So when I ate Fruity Pebbles, I'm not kidding you. This is not a joke. Fruity Pebbles were in a bowl, but they were just dry. I would just eat dry Fruity Pebbles.
I remember you saying this before, and that like I understand even your what was it, the boxed milk and everything, or the
the dry milk.
The dry milk.
That
and
wasn't
everything?
all the time.
But like I get those times for you. But the dry cereal, like you wouldn't put it in a bowl. Then you put it in a bag and you eat it out of a bag.
I'd eat that dry. I mean,
but did you eat it out of a bag or did you eat it out of a bowl?
Sometimes
dry with a that's
Fruity
weird.
Pebbles,
See, now that
you
like,
had to do a spoon because you can't.
That's weird.
Okay.
That's like that. You have issues.
Dude, Captain Crunch, the same thing. Okay.
That could get soggy. That's the one that can like get your tongue.
What do we do? Hey, Big Mike, don't come in the chat with that type of stuff, my man. Come on, dude. Grow up. What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Now I got to take the chat off the screen because you're being stupid. Come on, man. Dry cereal, better than milk. Oh, yeah, 100% not a milk guy.
Wait,
no, milk is gross.
What?
No, just talking about milk in general, I think. That's what I think.
I mean, I would rather have cereal with milk, and that milk of choice would be oat milk.
No, shit. Okay, Martin.
What?
I'm talking about milk. Like cow's milk.
Yeah, gross. Do you know what's in that shit?
David knows. Dry Captain Crunch permanently mangles the roof of your mouth. 100.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why it's even if it's if you ate a lot of it.
All right, let's go to Twitter Spaces now. Check in with Ryan. Let's see here. Ryan, what's up? What's up, Ryan? You're on with Deuce and Mo.
Deuce, Mo, you guys just killed my take because it's literally what's better, eating the cereal or drinking the milk afterwards. But apparently both of you guys don't like regular milk.
No, well, a couple things. Yeah. I used to drink milk, but like, I don't know. The thought of drinking milk just disgusts me.
Yeah,
to be
if
honest.
then you know that you just drinking milk from a cow is absolutely
But I just don't,
awful.
And just to be clear, I don't like go, hey, I need a glass of milk. Let me pour some oat milk. I don't do that. The only time I use oat milk is for my oatmeal.
Or I use it for a smoothie. Yeah, I would never I don't drink oat milk or almond milk alone. I'd have it in coffee, smoothie, and an ingredient that I might need. My cereal, I would have it, and it's bomb.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of take this a different way because we talked about Harry Carey.
Harry Carey. That was bad. My bad. I haven't done that in a while.
You guys both know, growing up during the summertime when we were out of school, about 9:35 in the morning, WGN would kick the Cubs games on. Would you rather listen to 9 innings of Harry Carey or 9 innings of Will Ferrell doing Harry Carey?
For me, I would just say Will Ferrell, just because I would have more of a connection I guess you could say. I'd be like, that's funny.
It is kind of interesting how like Harry Carey be a thing today? Like he such a unique voice, right? Such a unique presence, and like he was a huge drinker, right? Like, wouldn't he drink during the broadcast?
Would he really do?
Let's look it up.
I don't. He was just such a character. You know what I mean? But I don't know. That's a great question. I see. Growing up, man, I didn't experience much Harry Carey, like besides just highlights and stuff. So I've definitely seen Will Ferrell. Yeah, Serial Connection Manny says he was drunk.
So he would start boozing with friends with an early lunch before the game, drink throughout the game, and then come to the clubs. He owned several clubs and drink more.
That would never happen. Could you imagine? Also, could you imagine some of the things he might have said back in the day that maybe just didn't get picked up because it wasn't like...
We're very lucky we haven't heard something.
No social media.
Yeah, just a different
exactly.
time. Yeah. Wow. Great question, though. Yeah, I don't know. Will Ferrell's Harry Carey is so good.
It is.
So.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's the hair too.
Yeah,
that completely makes it.
It's
Here's the real question: would you rather listen to Will Ferrell, Harry Carey, or the what are the thing that it was called tonight?
What are the thing
what
it
was
was
it
called?
What was it called? I don't know why I can't
A
think of
hologram?
it. Yes, or the hologram of Harry Carey for 9 innings.
Come on, Mo.
Yeah.
You're a professional. You know the answers to that.
Will
Come
Ferrell?
On. Of course.
Oh, man.
Just making sure you're normal.
Anything else, Ryan?
No, I appreciate you guys. Hey, check your DMs. Been trying to hit both of you up.
Ooh.
Okay, all right.
I've been trying to. I'm crossing over, or trying to cross over into sports broadcasting. Not trying to make this about myself. And I've had Napes and some other guys on my show, and I really wanted to have you guys on because it's really cool to see how much you've grown, and it's not about blowing me up, it's about learning how you did it. So
dude, we'll check our DMs, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you so much for having me on. Have a great night, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. There's
We're going on a podcast.
Yeah, good for him, man. Yeah,
Dude.
create content, people. Do something if you like it. Like we said to Manny,
If you like it,
do your serial mockumentary.
Yeah.
Let's go. Chris with a question.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite NBA player today? Doesn't have to be the best.
Wow,
Doesn't have to be
that's
the best.
so interesting. You know what? If you had asked me a couple years ago, it really was LeBron. Like, it was LeBron since he was in high school,
and then it's a good change.
And then it was like, LeBron's always got to be my favorite player, and I'll always respect his game on such a different level. But yeah, it definitely changes, and I never really thought about like, this guy is my favorite. Sometimes it's season by season. Like, Dame will be my favorite player one season, but then I feel like he is still going to be one of my favorite players going into this season.
I think for me, to pick one is tough. It's either Steph.
That's a good one.
Or Giannis.
Both great ones. I mean, they're great.
And I think the reason I just look at both of those players as not only just absolute studs, generational talents, but generational people in the game. Like, just great. Like, they've been in one spot. They're committed to one spot. They are great teammates. I don't think you've heard any teammate go, yeah, Steph Curry's an asshole. Or, man, that Giannis doesn't really put in the work. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's what else, too, at least for Curry and the Warriors. It's like they have the biggest of big stars on their team. And you're not seeing everyone ask to leave and to get traded. And it isn't going in the right direction. And it's because it really does at times start at the top and trickles on down. And it just means that they have some good things going on there that are making people happy and want to be there.
Stanley in the chat says Zion. Like Zion would be up there in terms of like just favorite guys to just watch. I think, this year I'm just so excited to see him back on the floor. Like the fact that we didn't see him at all last year. We've only seen these little samples, but when we've seen him, I mean, he was an all-star one year. Hopefully he comes back ready to go.
Like for me, someone just said that too. Yeah, Kyrie. That's one of my favorite on the floor players to watch. Like just so exciting with his handle and his ability at that position is just incredible at times. It's special to watch.
Yeah, I think for me that those players fall in a different category. When I talk about my favorite player, it's like
I was just saying a Zion.
I know. I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
it encapsulates for me everything. How
Sure.
they play, what they're
Off the
about.
court.
Now, if we start talking about guys I like watching, yeah. I mean, Kyrie's up there.
Definitely different
up there.
categories.
Let's see. Here's a good question from Bertman. Who's your favorite role player in the NBA?
Ooh.
This evolves so much, right?
A role player. Just to put one of my other favorite players to watch on the list, Brandon Ingram. I really do enjoy watching so much. Just long, lengthy, different, unique style of play where he can just shoot over guys. That jumper. Going back to role players. Trying to go through California. It's like I have to go.
Yeah, I'm trying to bounce around the league in my head.
That's tough.
Robert Williams is a great one from the chat. Holy shit. That's a great one.
That is a really good one.
I mean, he's not obviously with Tatum and Brown, like those are the guys, but the role he plays and the impact he plays when he's out there, like the guy was one leg during the finals.
I was thinking Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown's a great one.
But
Good
he was
pickup for
also,
Denver.
And he was also someone that was like making a difference, was becoming more than just this role player, at least last season. And he's one of those players that has the ability to do it depending on what his situation is.
Okay. What about Russell Westbrook? What?
He would not think that's funny, and he would not agree with that statement at all.
It was just a joke, guys.
He's a starter in his mind.
Joke. I think Robert Williams is a great one. Bruce Brown. A couple of years ago, PJ Tucker, guys who come in.
Yes. To PJ Tucker.
I got another one.
Who?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Why are you being a dick?
Just kidding.
That's not even funny. That's so stupid.
All right, let's go back to Twitter Spaces. Let's check in now with King Bong. I don't know, dude. I'm probably messing this up. I'm gonna call you the King of Kings, though.
I like that. I'll take that.
What? How do I say it? Is it Bong? Was I saying it right or no?
My friends call me Bung.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Cool. What's up, man? How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm chilling. Good to see Kings fans out here in the middle of the off season.
Yeah.
Looking at our roster right now, we got 2 extra guys and the 2-way guys. So if you couldn't make any trades and you had to cut 2 dudes, who are the 2 that are getting cut before the start of the season?
We're already cutting guys before we even see them.
Well, I mean, that's the question. I want to know what people who would you take into this season if it was up to you?
Yeah, I mean, what's the roster stand at right now? Because obviously you can have like 20 guys headed into training camp, right? So
we can have one more.
Okay, so basically at this point, are you choosing between? I don't know. I think at this point you're choosing, obviously, the third point guard, Dellavedova and Cook, right? I could see a world where maybe they go, man, we really like Bazemore. We want him around. Chime plays well, and they go, you know what? We don't want a third point guard right now. They don't have to. They don't have to carry a third point guard, right?
But I feel like what? But I think it seems like they would want to.
Okay. Well, fine. Yeah. I would say. Oh man. See, now I'm going with predictions as opposed to what I would do. Okay, that's a different question. You know what? I think I would slight edge to Dellavedova because I think he brings you a little more defensively. Quinn Cook is definitely he got buckets in the G League last year.
Yes.
And he can get buckets. But I think for this team, if in case of emergency, are you going to need?
Well, okay. This is it's a funny question, because these are just predictions. Like it's barely even an educated guess right now because I don't know what Matthew Dellavedova looked like last year in the NBL, right? Like I'm sure he was doing great, but I haven't even gone back and been like, this is what he was doing in the NBL, and here are his numbers. And then with Quinn Cook, though, I watched him in person in Stockton, and there was times where it was just like you can just see the fringe NBA player, what some teams could see in him, his experience with being a champion, just like, with Matthew Dellavedova. So there's all of that. And so it's just so hard for me to be like, this is the guy right now. But if you're going to make me choose and be like, who just has the better like training camp and doesn't get cut, it'd probably be Matthew Dellavedova because I just think of his effort. That's like one of the first things that come to my mind when I think of him. And it's like, that's the type of guy that you need on your squad, and that maybe he has that leadership, like leading by example too. Okay. And not to say Quinn Cook doesn't have that, but I think Matthew Dellavedova has shown that he has that. So there's my breakdown.
Well, and maybe the other one is that they just cut KZ Okpala because I feel like we still don't know what his figure is and how much his money is, and maybe that's the other guy. I mean, the Monecki one is interesting because they gave him like $250,000 to just come to camp.
Wow,
that's a decent amount of money to it's not for a guy fighting for a spot.
Yeah,
and then he gets some more money if he makes the opening night roster. So, I don't know. I feel like we're dancing around your question, but I think I go Dellavedova would make the team, and maybe they decide to cut KZ Okpala. What do you think?
I personally I like him a lot, but I think that it's time for Alex Len to go.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad one. I just wonder. I guess my thought on Len is, he's an expiring. Are the Kings cool with just eating? Like what it was, like 3-something million. He makes almost 4 million. Like, are you just gonna? I
think you got to eat it though, because like Nemias needs to play. Like, we need to see him out there more. Like,
well, I just don't think he's gonna play. Even if Len wasn't on the team, he's not gonna play a ton in Sacramento. I think Rashawn's gonna get that.
Yeah.
I think they're excited to see what Rashawn can bring. Healthy. Clear mind.
And can
He's
I be
been around.
honest with Nemi too? If let's say that was the case, I would rather have him in Stockton developing with even more.
I want him to play. Yeah. I'm with
he's
you.
not going to play if he's on the Kings roster, where if he's in Stockton, he is playing. What we've seen from even last season with him, you just saw this guy develop in season and get better and better. In those little baby steps, I just feel like can keep coming if he can stay on the floor. And last year it was like he was traveling with the Kings, so then he wasn't in Stockton playing, and it was just like, let the man play.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to eat 4 million. And maybe they find a trade. That's kind of, to me, that was even an option. And I don't know what KZ, someone's like, why would you cut KZ? I like some of the stuff you see from KZ. I like the fact that he played in Miami, right? Like, he's been in that Heat culture. I know that's overused all the time, whatever. He had some awesome moments for the Nigeria national team. Brown knows him. I just don't know what his contract is. I feel like that's the one deal that I'm like, wait, did it actually happen? Like, what's the deal with him? Because we don't know the terms.
We don't know. And so that was a great one to add in there.
King, anything else, man?
When I look at this roster, I really value two things, which is like the veteran leadership we have from both Bazemore and Dellavedova. So I would want to keep both of those guys. And also everyone that was involved with the Nigerian national team. I would want to keep them too as a part of Mike Brown's system. And like, I think that both of those guys we've added, both in KZ and Moneke, are like versatile forwards that like provide a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas like my two cuts would be Len and then Quinn Cook, because like I see like there's the scenarios for those guys to get play. I feel like there's other guys I would rather hand. Like if I need a third center, I'd rather play Nemias or just move
100.
Metu or Lyles in there. Or if I need a third point guard and I don't know, like let's say like Delhi's not working out on offense and I'm all the way down there, I would rather slide Malik Monk in there or just hand the ball off to Kevin Huerter or play through Domas.
You have other guys that can handle the ball a bit for some minutes.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I mean the Len one is not your logic is like dead on.
Yeah.
It's like a few years ago when the Kings had Ramsey and Woodard on the roster and they were just sitting in Sacramento. You know, it's like you have two people that aren't even playing. Like that's tough. And when you need the help, right? Taking roster spots when you kind of need help.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're young guys, but they should have been just in Stockton all the time then or whatever. But yeah, I get what you're saying. So having people who not only like know Mike Brown, know what he wants out of offense and defense, having some versatility, some guys that could play a couple of spots, you know, KZ can defend definitely multiple positions. Yeah, I hear you on that. Well, King, anything else, man? Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say I'm really excited for both of those Nigerian guys coming in. I think that they like provide a lot that we haven't necessarily like. They seem like guys who can actually fill gaps, and that makes me excited.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And those are the fringe moves that you make. On the moves on the like
they make even a bigger impact in practices.
Well, for sure, but like
exactly.
You never. Gary Payton II.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a guy who bounced around the NBA, in the G League, all over. Golden State's trying to figure out what they had him around once, and then they had to figure out, all right, are we keeping him or Avery Bradley? They went with the guy, and I was going to say younger, but he's not that young either.
Yeah.
But they went with the less experienced NBA guy instead of, Avery Bradley, who's played in Boston, LA. And they went with that, and it was amazing. And Gary Payton II played 15, 16 minutes a night, but those were impactful minutes. Now, imagine in King's world if, like, Chime comes in and, like, he gives you 10, 12 good, really awesome minutes. He finds his niche on the team, or KZ. You get him cheap. They bring the max effort. They know what it's about. We talked to Monecki on the podcast. He understands what he is. He's not coming in going, I'm going to be the next LeBron James. He goes,
I'm trying to be a starter. It's not even that.
No, I'm going to come in. I'm like, I asked him, I'm like, so what kind of player can we expect from you if people don't know your game? First thing he mentions was toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Then he talks about defense. He talks about, I'm the greatest cutter.
Those
are
understands.
the little things.
He says that he's an elite cutter, then we asked him what made him an elite cutter, and he just talked about understanding that there's 5 guys on a team on the court, and there's one basketball. So how can you make sure you're doing work and making every other guy better on that end of the floor? And that's moving without the ball. And he gets at a different level. He understands his role and he understands what the NBA is made of. So yeah, guys like that, love it.
So basically find a home for Len.
Uh-huh.
And you have enough size to get by.
Sure.
No doubt if, anything bad happens or foul trouble or in the game, you could go smaller, whatever. And then you keep some versatility and you keep up a veteran point guard. Yeah.
I would honestly love that, because I would love to see Nemi get his NBA minutes and get that experience. But if that's not the case, his ass better be in Stockton playing, because I did not like seeing him not get any and any game minutes. It was all in practice because he was too busy traveling back and forth.
Hey, man, thanks for checking in, King. I hope you hit us up during the season.
Oh, you'll be hearing from me. You'll be seeing me in games, too. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Let's remove him. Everyone that's in night chat right now, appreciate you guys being here, just hanging out. How long have we been on? Almost an hour? Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. That helps our channel grow big time. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow all that stuff. You could also hop on Twitter Spaces. You can hop on Discord, too. You like how we've hit on so many things tonight, Morgan? So many random ass things.
I mean, yeah, that's what I figured, that what we would do on a Thursday night, talking to one another with a whole bunch of other people.
I love
yes,
it.
that's pretty much what I expected.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't think we'd start off night chat with talking about death, and then we didn't even talk about it. The ghost Wheatie box
Just fell off.
fell off.
That was weird.
That was weird.
And you know whose Wheatie box that was? My grandpa's.
What's the point of that?
Maybe it was the ghost. You just said ghost. My grandpa's dead. Like, can make the connection? Oh my God. Davion Fanatic says, I'm not going to hop on Twitter Spaces because I'm scared to talk to famous people.
What?
Well,
we're not famous, so come talk.
Oh,
Deuce is famous. Okay.
No, but what I always tell people, and write this down and remember it. We're just people. I don't care if Davion Fanatic, if you're walking down the street in Sacramento and you ran into Davion Mitchell, say what's up to the guy.
Oh my God.
Because if you cut him open, he bleeds.
Yes.
Just like you and me.
Always say that's honestly when I was in Vegas, and you had always told me that. You're like, whenever you're around people, just say hi.
Yeah.
Just make sure you let them know.
Morgan made fun of me at Summer League. What'd I do?
What'd you do? With who?
With Draymond.
Oh, no, that to me is a little different. I was thinking more of like when I went up to Malika Andrews, but you and your Draymond's all just rolling by us in a hotel, and he's like, "What's up, Draymond?"
I didn't say it that way. He was closer to me. I was like, "Hey, what's up, Draymond?"
It was, "What's up, Draymond?"
And he goes, "Deuce and Mo, what up?"
He did turn around, and it was so cute. He smiled and was like, "Who's this little boy?" Oh God, it's this 50-year-old man.
Let's go to Discord. We go to Discord. We'll go back to Twitter Spaces after that, then read some messages. Checking in with my guy, Sacramento Dave, who we have so many back and forths on Discord. Morgan, you miss out. Sacramento Dave is one of the most active Discord members. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, Mo? What's going on, Deuce?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I just decided to show up and come on Night Chat one of these
Hell
times.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, what you got for us?
So I want to continue the conversation about the roster, right? I don't really think that the Kings need a third point guard.
Yeah.
Is that your
wait, do you just
statement?
do you cut out, or I couldn't tell if you cut
I
out?
didn't cut out. So
okay.
my point is that
Did we lose
so
you again?
Malik Monk and Kevin Herter can kind of play the point guard spot, and they had Keon Ellis kind of playing point guard in summer league. So if the Kings were really in a pinch, they could kind of use a young guy instead.
I mean, I think that's the other thing you bring up, Dave. Honestly, like just because they have those guys in camp doesn't mean they're gonna be like for sure one of those guys will for sure be on the roster.
No, and it is fair. It's you know what scares me sometimes, you guys. Like I have this trauma of when Sacramento Kings point guard does go down, and it's like they don't have the depth and the confidence there. But again, that can happen anywhere. And I just think in Sacramento, we've seen it happen so many times, but this is a better roster than it has been in the past, that there is.
But the point is, like he was saying, I mean, if De'Aaron went down, you've got Davion, and then if you need to play young, sure, you can kind of mix it up for sure.
I know, I understand you can mix it up, but mixing it up also takes people out of their positions,
sure,
right?
That's what injuries do.
Right, but when you're the Sacramento Kings, it's just been year after year. There usually hasn't been enough depth or understanding even from guys of how to play different positions or play different positions at a high level. And I even bring this up. I always bring this up with Harrison Barnes. Like Harrison Barnes, when the Kings had to play him at the 4 a lot, yeah, he can play the 4, but he made so much more of an impact with this roster as the 3 because the Kings needed him to play the 3, where I'm not acting like, I guess if you have Malik Monk, if you move Malik Monk, you still have shooting from Kevin Herter if he's like,
it's not
running the
about
offense.
like Malik doing it full time.
I know.
This is the stuff I hate talking about, though. You know why I hate talking about? Because it's like we're talking about debating third point guard stuff.
I know.
Look, it is quite possible that both guys are in camp, like with the thought of, hey, maybe we do want a third point guard. Let's see how these two look. There's also a possibility that neither guy stays on the team. There's also the possibility like, hey, Cook, Delvedova, come in. We'll get you some preseason reps so other teams can see what you're about. You're an NBA thing. We're helping you out so you can get back in the league in some way.
Dave?
Okay. Yeah, so that's fine. Like, the roster is good. Like, the Kings roster this year is well above expectation. Keegan Murray played great in Summer League. I think that there's a lot of potential here for the Kings to do well this year. There is the looming Harrison Barnes contract situation, and Deuce knows how I feel about Harrison Barnes. So.
Oh, does he not like him?
He is, yeah, I don't even like getting into it because
Okay.
he's one of those people that's so anti-Harrison that I just like, I almost can't even like,
Yeah.
you know, and
I'm not
there's no
as a person.
No.
you might as well be with how you on a daily. It could be Morgan.
What?
4th of July, people are in Discord posting pictures of hot dogs and fireworks, and he's like, "Hey man, HB, if you look at the defensive metrics, he might have been the worst Kings defender in history." And you're going, it doesn't matter. It could be chaos going on in the world. Hey, it's January 6th. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about Harrison Barnes.
Dave, wait.
All I'm saying is
what?
Is that the Kings had a 29-26 record when they traded for Harrison Barnes.
Okay, so whoa. I love how revisionist history with Dave is here. Dave, don't do this right now, Dave. You know that one, that team was overachieving like crazy. The other thing that I thought hurt the team, Bagley got hurt. Bagley was kind of a nice contributor that year in his rookie year. And also, you know what else happened?
What?
Later in the season happened. Rest of the league was like, oh, this is what they do? They just run a whole bunch?
Yeah. Sure.
That's cute. We don't trust that this is going to keep up.
Or we know how to stop them, slow them down. Yeah, you figure it out. But I think with the Harrison Barnes slander, it's now, and because I really don't need to argue about this in August, you know, but I just think it's a little bit much in the sense of, you can go to the metrics, you can go to your data, you can go to your numbers, whatever. If you use a little bit of the eye test too, though, don't you see him as a solid 3 in this league, or no?
He's a good scorer.
Yeah.
So you like
he could rebound a little bit. He's
a good scorer and rebounder.
40% 3-point shoot
playmaker.
40% 3-point shooter. I think the other thing too is I think he can be more impactful this year
because he's not having to do so many other jobs.
Yeah, he's been asked to do too much. I think.
Right. I think he's more of a 4.
I don't.
Wow, I don't at all. When he was,
I don't like him at the 4.
And that's the other thing. He wasn't scoring as much when he was down at the 4. If anything, he was focused on crashing the boards, getting the ball out, and running the floor. It wasn't. That's the thing that they were missing when they were playing him at the 4. And if he is such a good scorer, according to your metrics and everything else that you're saying too, and just the eye test, we can see how he knows how to score the basketball. It's like, don't you want him to not solely focus on that, but mostly focus on like executing that at a high level?
I think he's more of a spot shooter. He's really good at and ones. That last year he had some of the highest and ones in the league. It's just the main problem is the Kings were better on offense when he's out there, but they're a lot worse on defense.
See, but I just think
their defense is shit.
Yeah, I just don't think like if you watch, was he perfect? No. I don't think he's a perfect defensive player, but there's a lot of like other defensive mistakes happening around him. There are major communication breakdowns, like especially early last year and for the majority of Harrison Barnes' career, playing with really around you below average defenders, where you're playing heavy minutes with like Buddy and Bagley, and then Fox has not been a consistent defender at all in the NBA. Like, and no rim protection. No one is going to look good. Like, you're not going to look good out there. I mean, even Davion, like, I don't even know. You might know better than I. Were the defensive numbers way better with Davion on the floor? Probably not.
His rating was worse, but he
was
a good individual defender. But the bench was also horrific on defense. So
yeah, I mean, it's just bad all the way around. So that's why I'm saying I don't think he's as bad defensively as some of the numbers suggest that we saw last year. I'm not trying to paint him as some defensive guy. I think he's a smart player that could be in the right spots. But like this year for the Kings defensively, it's all going to be about team defense because they don't have that type of guy.
Yeah,
Now,
I agree.
Now,
I mean, team defense is really important in the NBA. Like a lot of individual defenders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like De'Aaron Fox can D up individually, but he messes up a lot on team defense.
Yeah.
Things like that, and that's what causes a lot of breakdowns in the he'll reach for steals and jump passing lanes they didn't need to, or double team when didn't have to.
And that's
and it just
more
create
like
an open three for his man.
That's more. That's more like defensive IQ, instincts. That goes to a lot of that because I think in some ways he could be taught to not do, or like the discipline needs to be there, right? To not make those mistakes, to become a smarter defender. But when we talk to Davion Mitchell, he's talking about how his off-ball defense needs to improve just because of how he's a ball watcher. Like there's guys to that tier of defensive player and then to these average defensive players, wherever you want to put them. I know you put Harrison Barnes lower than average, whatever. But my point is the things that they can accomplish as a team with a good manager, as in a coach like Mike Brown, putting a good team defense in place and smart players that want to be out there and are working for their minutes, so they're going to put everything and leave everything out there.
Yeah.
There's some good things that can happen. Where when it was Buddy Hield, it's like you had someone who didn't understand the game of basketball at a high level. And then when it was Justin Jackson,
that's one thing I think.
It's like you had someone who didn't have much physicality.
Right.
I'm just, going down the line.
So, and I thought it was really interesting too, like how team defense in the NBA really translates really differently from how people evaluate like draft picks on defense. For instance, like Keegan Murray looks like a really good team defender.
Yes.
He does.
And people like Donovan Mitchell and Karl Anthony Towns were heralded as defensive first players when they were drafted.
Yeah.
And that they may have been good defenders in college or good one-on-one defenders, but they just don't play team defense at a high enough level to impact that in.
And
it's kind of interesting.
You're exactly right. And that's why I think sometimes, and we're all guilty of this. I mean, I've definitely said in the past, and I know it's prevalent in a basketball conversation when we talk about a struggling team is, man, the effort out there tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, effort definitely matters, but you could try really hard out there and still get destroyed. It goes back to what you've been talking about, what Dave was mentioning, is the basketball IQ. Like you gotta know what the heck, you gotta understand the game. You have to understand who you're defending. I mean, I talked about a story about a player from a couple of years ago where there was major confusion about a guy he was guarding and 3-point shooting. Didn't know that guy could shoot threes. And that's like, that falls on everybody. That's on the player. Like, know your personnel, who you're defending. On the coaching staff, like, how are we not having this player more engaged into the game plan? Some of it's schematic for sure, but like, yeah, you have to understand your opponent. You have to understand how to communicate. Those are big deals. And that's why I think the Kings can be better defensively.
Sure.
I think they have some pretty smart players out there. Keegan, HB,
there's going to be times that people get caught behind a screen and understand, and there's going to be times, like hopefully that we're not talking about this too much, that the effort wasn't there and they didn't fight over the screen. But if there's times that they're in drop coverage and they didn't understand that they were supposed to be getting a hand in the face of a 40% 3-point shooter and coming over the screen,
right.
That's when you have problems. And that's what we've seen so much with the Sacramento Kings defense. And I do believe, because they have this competent coaching staff and it seems like players with some good heads on their shoulders, like it can go in the right direction as a team defense.
Yeah, my biggest thing with this team and this roster is that you kind of got rid of all the players who were kind of unprofessional. Players who kind of had an unprofessional rep around the league.
Sure.
And kind of picked up a bunch of, hard-nosed professional guys, maybe not hard-nosed on defense, just like guys that work and put in the time and are professional type players, and with a professional type coach who's not super, laid back. And,
Yeah. No, that's
hopefully
a fair...
we can see more progress from the team than usual. And that and they addressed all their problems. I mean, they added 3 excellent 3-point shooters to
Yeah.
a team that couldn't shoot the 3 at all.
Yeah,
So,
the spacing was terrible. And
I think they have 3 of the top 10 spot up shooters in the NBA.
and think
Next year?
about, I mean, and just think about like years gone by when, you know, when the 3-point shooting did look good, when you had Buddy and Bogey and Bielitsa, and then, you know, of course, at the deadline, you move Halliburton and Heald.
Yeah.
You know, it
Yeah,
got
Fox
bad.
is
And then,
like a future all-star in that
Yeah.
situation.
yeah. And then like Justin Holiday couldn't hit a shot in Sacramento. The
That
guy was a
was-
good 3-point shooter like everywhere. He comes to Sacramento, couldn't hit anything here.
Uh-huh.
It's small sample size too.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. And it happens with shooters when they come here to soccer. I mean, look at when like Marco Bellinelli was here.
Marco Bellinelli.
You guys,
That's a throwback.
and
Yeah.
again, it goes to because there's not enough attention everywhere else on the floor. So a lot of these teams can execute their game plan on some of those
Yeah.
shooters that roll through Sacramento.
Well, again, that was another situation where, and this has happened a lot. This is what bad teams have had a lot of times, right? Is you're asking players to play a role they shouldn't be in.
Yes.
You know,
That's what you do
Yeah,
in
it's like,
Sacramento.
hey, Marco, I know you're a really nice role player in San Antonio. Can you start at the 2 for us and play 34 minutes a night?
Yes.
It's like, no, there's actually, you know, a reason he's really good in a specific role, and that's not hating on a guy. You know,
No.
people, I think sometimes people think of role players and it's like, oh, you're clowning. It's like, no, like
95%
you
of the
need-
league.
You need great role players. So,
Mhm.
did not think we were going to talk about Marco Bellinelli tonight, Dave.
Yeah, I don't ever want to talk about Marco Bellinelli again, to be honest with you.
Oh, man.
But for the Kings, I mean, they got a good 1 through 9 players. Like, you're only really going to play 9 to 10 players a night. So, barring injury, there's going to be a lot of players who don't play.
Yeah.
That you think should play. I mean,
Yep.
TD, Chimezi, Davion's going to have a few nights where he doesn't get a lot of minutes. There's going to be, I mean, Monk and Herter might get reduced minutes some nights. So, I mean, it'll be interesting how Mike Brown handles all that.
Yeah, and the biggest thing there is communication, right? You gotta be real with guys and understand. Also, in a long season,
Yeah.
roles are going to change.
Yep.
You know, there are going to be guys who maybe don't play early that end up playing later because it's a competitive thing. And I think that's the thing that most excites me just about where they're at from a roster standpoint. I'm like, to Dave's point, if you're like kind of deep 1 through 9, you got like legit talent there. The competition level hopefully is good. And hopefully it's not like bitterness. Hopefully it's Brown's able to create an environment where guys are like, dude, let's go, as opposed to, damn, I should be playing and I'm pissed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a tough thing. I mean, mentally for a player, like if you're Terrence Davis, you know, you want to play every night. And if you're not playing, how do you maintain the level of fight without getting down and maybe being upset about and being
And
disruptive?
You guys,
you know?
let's be real too. We've seen this team for so many years face so many challenges and adversity, and
Yeah.
when they do, they don't know how to come back from it. And I know this is a whole different roster, but obviously they're still going to hit adversity. They're not, they don't have a whole bunch of all-stars on this team. They're going to face a lot of challenges. And when they do, it's how do they bounce back from those challenges will be very telling to this entire season and how they will grow from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the 32.5 win mark is ridiculous, I think. Like, I think they
Yeah.
gave the Kings a 37 win or 36 win like 2 years ago.
Last year, I remember because I
Yeah.
said the Kings they would be over 36.5 where I'd shave my
And
head.
The team's extremely more talented than it was last year. I mean,
Yeah,
they added Sabonis, and 36 or 37 wins would be like Sabonis' worst full season in the NBA.
I just
as a player.
don't get it. And I know the West is going to be challenging. Like we've gone over that how many times? It's so deep, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I see the talent on on paper, and I go, well, they should be in the mix. And to have them, the only teams below them in the West, OKC, Houston, and San Antonio. In fact, Caesars has Utah at the same win total right now, and that's without trading Mitchell. You know, we presume that they're going to trade Donovan Mitchell. Who the hell knows? But I don't know. It's fine. I mean, I'm not saying, oh my God, how disrespectful. Look, when you lose for 16 straight years, at some point you just got to prove it. Maybe Vegas is overcorrecting now because they're like, God, we've been a little higher. We thought we had their number higher. I'm not buying it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they could always win. They could always hit the under, obviously. if things run off the rails.
You
But
don't
I mean,
say that
32
shit, Dave. You do not
Hey,
say that
32
shit.
and a half. 32 and a half is so low. I mean, like that would be Mike Brown's worst regular season of his
Dave,
career.
if the Kings win 32 games, night chat is over.
No,
I will
chat's
not.
over?
I will
such
not
a
do another
liar.
night chat.
I'll
If-
do a night
now,
chat.
I mean,
I will
you
no,
sound like
no,
me the last time I called in.
I'll say this: if they win 32 because of like crazy injuries, that's a difference. If they're fully healthy, you know what I mean, relatively
Yeah,
healthy,
yeah.
they're winning more than 32 and a half games. Morgan, that's ridiculous. What do we?
You guys,
Am I that big of a homer?
I think everyone that has criticized the 32 and a half, I don't think those people are homers. I don't think that you're wrong for criticizing it. But I'm also in the boat where I'm like, it's not absolutely absurd. Like they haven't seen, we were just talking about everything trickling down from the top, right? With how everyone's so happy with the Warriors. You never see stars wanting to get out and trade me, blah, blah, blah. And people have not seen that in Sacramento for a while.
Yeah.
And so they're like, why are we supposed to believe that all of a sudden, just because you change the roster, that everything else is going well? Because it does start at the top.
Sure.
And I do believe that there has been a lot of changes with how things are run and everything, and that it is going to be a much better year. But everyone else isn't fully seeing all of that too.
I get it. I'm going strictly on paper. I mean, if you just break it down by what the.
But does Vegas just go by on paper, or do they factor in everything?
They factor in
Right.
everything, sure. But what? God, were they just way off last year when they said 36 and a half for Sacramento?
Yeah, they had.
Well, this team's better than last year. I don't have to see this team play. I know they're better than last year. 32? Could you imagine if I really was like, no, I'll never do
Yeah.
it. Night chat is dead.
It would be awful if they won less than 32 games. I mean,
And then we canceled night chat forever.
So stupid.
that would be the worst part. But 40%, 40% 3-point shooters. I mean, Keegan Murray proved that he was kind of a really consistent volume 3-point shooter in summer league. I mean, he'll have to show it in the league. But I mean, NBA 40% over 7 games is with like 9 threes a game is a lot of volume. And I would say that adding 3 shooters to the roster, 40% 3-point shooters, and starting 40% 3-point shooters
With also, Dave, let's also know
high octane offense.
Yeah, let's go back to that. With a guy in Fox who's able to attack, who could be a threat from the mid-range, right? Who's got the speed to collapse a defense, from someone like Sabonis who can command a double team, a guy who loves moving the ball. Like, those guys should get great looks this year.
You
It'll be
guys,
an explosive offense for sure.
I agree.
yes, and on paper, if you're just like a basketball purist, you're seeing some great, or you're seeing some very good players in these positions. Some great moves being made for these positions on just like how you look at the fundamentals of basketball. Yeah, it looks really good. Can they manage to actually make it work, and then obviously have to make it work on the other end of the floor, the defensive end? I believe it's going to be improved.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Black Lives Matter in the chat says. Can't just add offense, LOO. And it's, I mean, no, 100%. And that,
right.
If you're going biggest concern going into season, you're still going on, is the defense
Still think
good
they got
enough?
better on defense. Though.
I do too.
Yeah,
because
no, it's
and-
I
improved.
think Kevin Herter is a competent defender, especially in the team sense, and he stays in front of his man. They had him guarding a lot of really tough players for Trae Young.
Wait. Here's
And-
my question really quick, because you say that about Kevin Herter, and I agree with you. That why are you so down on Harrison Barnes' defense?
I just think he gets blown by now.
I mean, I think he's going to get blown. I mean, a lot of guys get blown by in today's game, I feel like.
And he doesn't have
that's where you get
recovery
team
speed,
defense.
right?
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
that's where
He
your
gets
help
blown
has
by
to be
in
there.
the
You have to have good team. It goes all back to team
yes,
defense,
yes.
right?
So that's the only thing that why I'm saying that is because like if he gets blown by, he can't like block someone from behind.
Well, and someone else, someone, I think Black Lives Matter was talking about that too in the chat, just saying my biggest thing is who guards wings on this team. And this is where the team defense has to be really good. But I think Harrison can be adequate enough there. And I think when there's not going to be as much responsibility on him to score,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To just be a catch and shoot guy, dude. That's fine. We're cool with that. You'll get good looks. Attack the basket every once in a while. Keep the defense honest. Like
crash the boards.
You don't like if Harrison Barnes averaged like 12 a game this year, but the offense was like top 10 or you'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna be.
I mean, Harrison Barnes could definitely play a role.
Yeah.
Like, I
so
think his expiring contract is a problem, but if he expires, I mean, the Kings have still have a grip of expiring contracts at the end of the year. They'll have $26 million in cap space at the end of the year. So
yeah, and I think going back though to just like all right, defense too. It's like. Yeah, I mean, one, you got to score in this league. Like flat, you got to score. You got to get buckets. But yeah, I think they are banking on, hey, we got a couple of wing guys that are intriguing that are high upside. Like KZ Okpala, like, hey, Mike Brown. Mike Brown's high on that guy.
Yeah.
And we don't know the details of his contract, and that's why I feel like I'm kind of like questioning things about what's going on there. But, Mike Brown has been on record saying he has a potential to be a defensive player of the year in this league. Now, is that going to happen in all likelihood? No, but he obviously sees some gifts there. And you think about him working with KZ and getting the most out of him. Maybe that's a guy who off your bench comes in and he's kind of a nice stopper playing 12 minutes, 15 minutes a night. Again, that GP2 role.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for instance, like Mike Brown was the defensive coordinator for the Golden State, and they didn't really have any there's outside Draymond. They didn't really have any super elite defenders playing last year, except for GP2 and Draymond.
I guess last year. I mean, Clay is such a competent defender, but obviously his injury is.
He's definitely a step slower now. But I would say
Looney can do some nice things from team defense.
To be in the right spot.
Yes.
Like they just need people to cut off drives and take what what the offense gives them, right?
Think about even when Boston was smart in one of their final games and they were attacking Curry and understanding what Curry couldn't bring with his size, the disadvantages, and they kept going at him and it was working until the defense made a change. They altered the way that they were doing things, and they also had guys that a good system that they can plug and play and execute it at a high level, and that was that team defense that really made that difference.
I would say the other thing too that was so big with Golden State is Wiggins' defense was
my God.
Yeah.
In the playoffs was outrageous.
Yep.
I mean, he was phenomenal. What he did
Wiggins
on Luka.
is kind of a player, that
dude,
really overperformed, and he's kind of a player I would like to see the Kings chase after here.
Yeah, I mean, if
Golden State is going to have to pay him a lot of money, and they're paying a lot of guys a lot of money, and they're going to have to pay their rookies soon.
Yeah, so I like Andrew Wiggins a lot.
Wiggins might be someone they might have to just let go.
Yeah, they're not going to trade. I mean, I think he's important. We'll see. I mean, there's so much time
if he
before
finishes
that
out the
happens.
season is what I'm saying. The Kings can
yeah.
pursue him in the offseason maybe, but because he'd be a perfect fit for what the Kings are doing right now.
And that again, another guy that was with Brown, and I thought Wiggins took such a huge step, and a guy that also is in the. We talk about roles in this league.
Yep.
Everyone's got a role. We go, hey, Andrew Wiggins. Is he going to be your best player, your second best player? Probably not. But there were times he was one of their best guys out there in the finals and the playoffs.
Obvious offensive talent.
Yeah, and if he brings it like he did rebounding and defensively, love that guy. Dude, Dave, we've talked forever. We got to get some other people. But, dude, awesome chat, man. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Dave. Shout out to everyone watching us live right now. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Let's get that over 100. Shout out to our guy, Kenneth, coming through. He just gifted 50 new Deuce and Mo memberships on YouTube.
Oh, my God.
You get a membership.
Hell yeah.
Dude, thanks, Kenneth. That's awesome.
YouTube memberships are just a cool way to also support the show. Like, you get different emotes, just for those who don't know. We do the same thing on Twitch, but we had a whole bunch of new emotes.
Enjoy chatting with the
whatever
emotes.
you want to call them. And and sometimes on YouTube for members.
Oh, yeah.
We'll drop some like exclusive, like, hey, this is who we're having on. You found out for, we'll try to do some fun stuff.
That's funny. Did I get one?
David said Wiggs was the second best player on the championship team. Yeah, he ended up being that good down the stretch, David, no doubt. And that's not something you would have said before the season, right? You wouldn't have been like, hey, I think Wiggins is going to be their second most important player if they make it to the finals. That's what's fun about a season.
Yeah. It really is. It's not. Sometimes you can't predict what's going
Right.
to happen. You look at the Grizzlies, you look at some other guys, and just the way that they change. Their games evolve. They get better.
Let's check in on Twitter Spaces with Ross. What's up, Ross?
Hello, my friends.
Dude.
How are you?
Good.
You know, I'm going to be real honest with you.
Oh.
The only reason I did Twitter Spaces is because Morgan said you asked for it. Because, you know, sometimes
Thank
it's like
you,
got
Morgan.
You got it.
that. Yeah.
I almost just tagged you. But thank you, Morgan, for passing on the message.
Well, thank you for coming on Twitter Spaces.
Oh, no doubt, you guys. I tried Discord once and I failed and gave up permanently. So I was like, all right.
That's what you should
I'll
do
hop
in
on.
life. That's what you should do. If one thing goes wrong, you just go, you know, I'm not doing that ever
Bail.
again.
I'm making slow technological progressions throughout my life, and the last 5 years have been pretty good. So I could probably give it a shot again.
Appreciate
Sweet,
that.
sweet.
Evolve. I love it.
What's going on, man?
Yes. Well, let's talk a little Kings. So first thing, I just want to say, like, definitely the best lineup the Kings have had in the last 16 years, right? There's not really a...
I mean, I think
debate.
so, and I don't even think that's like... I don't think that's outrageous to say, one, because they've had some shit teams.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the only other one that you could maybe bring up... I don't know. I couldn't. I'm not
But
going to go there.
are
Like
you- will you even bring it up?
The Rondo team, but I did not like that team. I was not a fan of the
Rondo,
team.
was that Rudy Gay?
Yeah, Cousins.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Bellinelli,
Yeah.
Costa.
Yeah, it just because you have some
Yeah.
bigger names doesn't mean that you have a better
Yeah.
team that knows how to work together, right? But yeah.
But then the other one, I mean, I get this is revisionist history, but you go, oh, you had Isaiah, Rudy, and DeMarcus. You know, they all scored 20 a game in a season, but it wasn't, you know, a good team overall. But yeah, I mean, to me, there's no doubt about it. Like, this team is really, in terms of pure talent and depth, the
Yeah.
best team that they've had in a long, long time.
For sure. And the main way I broke it down was just like simple, like layman's terms, like would other teams and GMs like want the players we have? And then like how many? So I basically counted them out and we got 8. I think we all kind of know who the 8 are. And then you have like somebody like Lyles or TD that might be 9 or 10, but pretty much 8. And I started like honestly thinking, have we even had like 4? I mean, you know what? I came down Jaeger year because Marv was a rookie and we could have still traded him because you know the saga hadn't happened and we had Buddy and we had a young Fox, Donovich. So that was pretty strong as far as assets, but I don't think it's really that close. And so I'm getting kind of hyped for the season. But I'm also just in the last like couple of days, I started not tempering it, but I definitely like came to the realization that the league is like super deep. So like if we had this lineup 5 years ago, we're probably like, you know, maybe even like 5-6 feet or something like that. But kind of brought up the debate, and it might be fun to do. Is like, is this, in my opinion, this is the most talented the league has ever been, like top to bottom.
Agreed.
I think like the 90s, you had like those like 20 like mega superstars. But like top to bottom, like it's crazy right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you can make the case for, you know, so many teams in the West to make it, there's literally, I think, two teams that you go for sure aren't making it in the West. The Spurs and the Rockets.
Okay.
I don't think OKC is making it, but is there a world where like they overachieved?
Yes, there is that world.
Giddy's awesome, SGA's healthy, Chet's impactful, and they are a playing team. I wouldn't bet on it, but I also go, there's a chance. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy that there's that many good teams.
Ross?
There's no doubt. And like, OKC could totally fucking, excuse my language.
No, you're good. You're good.
You guys just make me so comfortable here.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, OKC goes like 20 and, 12 or something to start, and Hinkie goes, or whoever is in charge over there goes, let's trade for somebody, man. Like, why not? They're already super deep, in my opinion. Like, just Shea and Gideon. Like, you got what's their defender they just signed to a long contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, like even him, like, oh my goodness, you already got 4 players that are like, pretty talented. So who knows? But so as far as like the league being the deepest, in my opinion, it's also the most evenly kind of spread out it's ever been. Because like you look at, I was like, man, look at how deep. I obviously think the East is way more stacked, and just look at like kind of the road to the finals last year. Like the Celtics, like if they would have won, that would have been one of the all-time great runs.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Miami, they had Giannis, they had Durant, and then they faced the Warriors. It was kind of crazy. And then you look at the Warriors, though, and this is what has me more optimistic, is like the West was super scary and intimidating, but I mean, the Warriors' run to the finals last year was like, and I'm going to sound like a hater, but it was a cakewalk to the finals. I mean, they played Dallas in the Western Conference Finals to go to the NBA Finals. How lucky would you be to run along a team that, their second best player is great and he was on a heater of a lifetime, but like a year ago he was.
Ross, is that even before that playoff run with the Warriors, think about how many times people and myself were doubting the Warriors and playing some of these teams. Like, think about how it wasn't even like, I know it was closer toward the end of the season that finally it was like everything was clicking for them. Things are looking good. They're going into the postseason. Great. But a little bit before that, I'm telling you, it was just people were like, well, if Looney's their only big, what are they going to do? How are they going to have a deep run in this postseason? There's so many questions. So I know we say it was a cakewalk now because we saw how they played, but we weren't saying that, even a month or so before the postseason.
Yeah, but I guess the path, right? You probably thought you're going to have to, if you're Golden State, you're probably thinking, well, if we're making it to the finals, we have to go through Phoenix. The team that made it last year, and then what happened with Phoenix is still insane. They won 64 games.
Yeah,
after making it to the NBA Finals a year before, and then they have the worst Game 7 performance we've ever seen on a home floor.
Awful.
It was insulting to the game. But I think Ross, your point too is, I think. Obviously so much still depends on what's going on with Durant. Where does he land? We're hearing like Philly stuff now and Boston and could Toronto, Miami be in the mix, whatever. But in the West, I mean, you expect Golden State's going to be in the mix. I think the team that you go, are they going to make a serious jump and be the best team in the West? Is the Clippers. And it's getting Kawhi back.
Yeah.
It's having Paul George. It's having incredible depth. I mean, they seem like they can really have something special with the Clippers if healthy, but I think it's also a big time if. I know some people are excited about Minnesota. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be one of the more interesting storylines of fall this year. They won 46 games last year, good enough for the 7th spot, but are they taking a huge leap or?
And then to your other point too, Ross, talking about this Kings roster.
Morgan goes, Deuce, that was cute. You said all that. Let me move on to your other point because I'm not going to respond to that.
No, because I didn't care about, I did. No, I cared about what you said, but I cared about talking about this point of what Ross was bringing up. And that was talking about the Kings roster, although it got so much better and where this roster would be a couple years ago compared to now, because the rest of the league is getting better. The rest of these teams are just getting better. The rest of these individuals are getting better, right?
Sure.
And so I get the whole, when everyone wants to get excited about this Kings roster, but it is something too that everyone does need to take a step back and always look at these squads.
The case I'm going to make about the West is simple. Who's the great team? Who has the potential to be great? We go Golden State, Phoenix. I gotta be honest, going into the season, I don't think Phoenix is gonna be a great team. I think they're gonna be good, but they're not gonna be great. I think the potential Golden State and the Clippers.
Hey, Phoenix, are you just going off of that though because of the drama?
I don't think they're winning 64 games because yes, there's drama. DeAndre Ayton, he was He wanted to go to
1
Indiana.
foot out the door.
He wanted to go. It's messy. Chris Paul, you can't.
Yeah,
that's
they didn't even look good. I can't remember who their first series they played in the playoffs.
Was that New Orleans?
They didn't even look. Yeah, and actually, that's funny because that's what I was gonna bring up was like, who knows? But like a couple weeks ago, that like big three like post came out on Twitter where they showed the best 3 players from every team, and obviously the Kings weren't on there. It was only 8. But I looked at the Pelicans team and I was like, I would take their 3 because it was McCall, Zion, and Ingram, and I was like, Zion's obviously a who knows, but that's nasty 3 right there.
No, it is.
Like,
it can be.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that it's just my whole point, I guess, is there could be a couple of great teams, but then there's just a lot of teams that I don't think the difference between like 5 and 11 is going to be drastic. I think there's a lot of shuffling that could happen there. 5.
Yeah, I feel
that's
the same way.
I was.
That's why I was looking at the before the playoffs started. And Mo, you were right. Like halfway through the season, I was going. I mean, I had that hunch because I hate to see the Warriors win, and something in your gut just goes, they're going to win.
Yeah.
But they were not the team. Like once they started rolling the playoffs, it was like, oh man, here we go again. But I will give Steph his flowers because I've always loved Steph. He's one of the greatest of all time. One kind of knock I had on him is he never was like the most clutch player in my opinion. He always had somebody do his work for him. It was like Iggy, Clay, Durant, even Draymond. He had nice moments, but I'm talking like Western Conference Finals or Finals. You're like, oh, that was that Curry dagger. He would have really, really good numbers, but he wasn't always their fourth quarter guy, in my eyes.
But I feel like just his presence alone.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
and he's getting triple teamed and all that.
Yep.
But still, when you talk about Jordan, Kobe, Curry, like these players he's being compared with, like that's what they always knocked LeBron for. They said, but can you close out?
Yeah, that narrative shit it's so crazy to me. That conversation. I look at Steph.
What I mainly was going to say was, props to Curry because he put a knife in their throat when he hit that 3. I think it was game 4 or something like that, and it was about to be 3-1, and he just felt the series was over.
Yeah,
it was like okay, he pretty much took their hearts. But I do feel super optimistic. I kind of was like, oh, the league is deep, but we got a good lineup, and I think it's completely like anybody's ball game.
Let's go.
Buckle
up.
The West looks dangerous, but it's so gettable. It once you throw it up, we got 8 good players, so my man Nick would say,
why not?
Why not?
Ross, thanks for checking in, man.
Yeah, I love you guys, man. I appreciate the show.
All right, man.
Thanks,
we'll talk
Ross.
to you soon.
Why not?
Why not?
What a great.
We got to make those shirts still, by the way. Why not shirts? Shout out to Kenneth who donated another 50 subs.
Kenneth. Dude, thanks for spreading the love to all the Deuce bags and Mo Rons.
Roman says, I got Deuce and got a Deuce and Smoke sesh going on right now. Oh, I see. And he put M-O and Smoke capitalized. That went over my head. My bad. He's enjoying it. Okay. The Birdman says, my goal in life is to be as loaded as Kenneth is with all his donations.
Hashtag
the rock
goals.
bottom. Kenneth, the financial backer of all memberships for this podcast. Without Kenneth, this pod would have like 1,000 less members. You're probably right, but you know what? We've actually gotten a decent amount, but Kenneth has been huge for helping that.
Yeah.
And, we appreciate all those who stick around as members. It's a small way to support.
Yeah. Appreciate it, you guys.
We don't really pound that enough, but it's just weird to say, hey, become a member. But let's see here. Rock Bottom says Dallas will not be as good as last season, or will they? You got Skinny Luka, man. Are you on board with Skinny Luka?
I didn't see this new.
Well, we saw the one where he looked kind of ripped. I don't know if this is photo. This could be photoshopped. All right, I don't know. This could be with the angle too.
Okay, and I forget, how old is Luca? He's
Like 23?
Yeah,
22?
I'm gonna just like look it up, make sure he is
22.
Yeah, 23. So he's 23, and all I'm thinking, like, I was so like fluffy. I remember in my face and everything.
Are you calling Luca fluffy?
No, until I was like 25, and then I remember when my face started just kind of not being so fluffy looking. It was not, but anyway, my point is it just came with maturing and age, and I think with him, he's kind of growing out of that fluffy stage, but also is understanding how to take care of his body better too.
Yeah, and I think I'm less concerned about what he looks like.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the fatigue factor.
Right.
The conditioning.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't need Luka to start looking ripped. I don't need him to look. I just need him to be able to withstand what happens in the playoffs, especially with, the team they have around him. They rely so much on him. It's him. They lose Brunson. That's not an easy thing to deal with either. I don't know how, successful he could be in the playoffs if he doesn't have the help he needs. They thought Porzingis was going to be that when they got him from the Knicks. We know how that played out. Porzingis is now in Washington.
Right.
So that's the biggest challenge. But yeah, Luka it's crazy how great he is now, but how flawed he is still. Which is
where
says
you,
a lot about him.
What
as
are
a
you
talent.
saying with what are one of his flaws that you're pointing out within that sense?
I just think he gets gassed a lot. I think
okay. So you're going to the conditioning.
That's a huge one.
Sure.
You need to be
yeah.
if you want to
stay on the floor.
If you want to be considered one of the elite players, I need you. And I'm not saying you need to be perfect, but you can't be noticeably gassed. I would like him to be better defensively, of course.
I mean, he's worked on his mental game.
Yeah, yeah, it's improved.
It's right, worked on it.
Yeah, and I want him to still be emotional. Like that's part of what makes him him.
What's gonna happen when, especially on this roster going in next year, when it's like decision making? He is gonna have to take over a lot, and he's done that before. But then we also saw this team last year, obviously, when they had Brunson still there too.
Dude.
It was like they were capable of playing well without him.
They won and were competitive in playoff games without him. Not regular season games, playoff games. That's pretty remarkable. Yeah. I know it's similar. James Harden in Houston had the same stuff happen in the playoffs. Like, yeah, incredible performances, right? Unbelievable scoring stretches where you're just like, this guy is everything for this team. But then the playoffs came around and it was like, oh, where's he?
Yeah.
And Luka has had some incredible playoff performances too. But
sure.
I think I'm harder on Luka because I understand his greatness. Like, I just think he has a potential to be one of the best to ever play the game. What?
No, it's just so true.
And yeah,
it just that stings. But yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I don't need to. No,
you get this because that's actually one of the worst things you can bring up. Dude.
That hit me when you said that. It hit me like that. I know.
Why you bringing up old
I
shit?
didn't mean to. I don't want to talk about it. Let's not even talk about it.
Yeah. But yeah, Luka, I just they can get into elite shape. Give me great conditioning.
Well, you saw it last year when Jason Tatum, couldn't push through games 5 and 6, or was it? 5
It's
and
hard.
6? Yeah, it was just. When I say that, I'm not shitting on Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that is the elite of the elite can get past that stage and work on that in the offseason. And Jason Tatum will look at his games and he will be better with his conditioning. He seems like one of those players that would fix that.
Question that I should not put in the universe, am I going to bring up anyway?
Okay, great.
Join me in fantasy land for a second.
I'm here in fantasy land.
It's April 2023, and somehow the Kings and Mavericks are playing in the playoffs.
I'm not Fantasyland.
No,
bye.
Are you? It's night chat.
All right,
Morgan.
Fantasyland. I'm back.
Are you kidding me?
I'll be here. I'm just like looking through the window at Fantasyland.
Think about the feeling of making the playoffs, but what if you get there and like Luka just destroys you? Is that the worst case? Like,
No, I mean you laugh so you don't cry at that in that point, right? Because otherwise, then we're gonna. Why are you bringing up
Yeah.
old shit all the time?
Why you bringing up old shit?
Yes,
point.
exactly. And it's just like, no, you got to talk about the game.
let's go back to Discord now and check in with JVZ. What's up, JVZ?
Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I wanted to talk about a couple things. The 32 game win over under.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you look back at last year's team that won 30 games.
Thank you. Thanks for noting that number right there. They won 30 games last year.
And that team could have won 32 games if they just
fair.
didn't quit for like 10 games in the middle of the season.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and
Like-
if you had Sabonis from the start of last year, even with that, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
go
fair.
ahead.
I mean, yeah, so there's that. But even like the team that started the season, the horrifically unbalanced team that started the season, if they just tried, they could have hit 32. And you know, yeah, the West is deep. It is a lot harder to add wins. So like all these people that are saying, 40 plus, a 10 game improvement is hard.
Right.
But
it's doable, but it's hard.
It's not, but you got to remind yourself, it's not 10 games from the Sabonis team. I mean, the majority of the season was played with like Buddy, Bagley, and that group, right?
It's still within. You're still under the same organization, and like there's just a lot to it.
New coaching staff.
And new coaching staff too. Sorry, JVZ. New coaching staff too. Sometimes it's like that is the growing stage. Is that first year with that coaching staff too?
39 to 43 wins is where they'll be at.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think-
JVZ, where are you at?
I think, I mean, people are bringing up the depth a lot. And I think a really underrated part of depth, and it might be kind of obvious to just say it, but like when we always bring it up in terms of like who's playing how many minutes and stuff, or what happens if somebody gets injured. But like last year we saw where if somebody that was in the starting lineup did not give a good enough effort on defense and you tried to hook them and play somebody else in that spot, then that doesn't hold because whoever was replacing them was not good enough to just hold that position down, and then you end up having to go back to the guy who sucks on defense.
Yeah.
And so like you can't threaten a player that you're going to take their playing time away if the guy behind them,
Because they know that they're going to play no matter what, because
Yeah.
the accountability can't be there, because they're like, no, you can't not play me. You need me.
yeah, so you just, and then I think that kind of leads to everybody kind of phoning it in. But now that we have that depth, everybody's going to be constantly competing with each other for minutes. On top of that, they're going to have the structure to know like that this is what I need to do as part of team defense. This is the role I need to play when I'm on defense. And if I'm not doing that, then there's somebody who behind me that is good enough that is probably going to be able to do it. And so I feel like that is just going to keep everybody motivated throughout the year. And that's going to stop us from going on these big long streaks of losing 7 out of 8 games in a row, or just these 4-game losing streaks that we had all year. Like just those things. I feel like we're filling in all the little pieces that are required to make this team better. We didn't just go out and grab a player where we can look at a player and instantly say this guy is going to add 10 wins to the team. But I think we did a lot of little things that can each add like 1 or 2 wins each. And I think the coaching staff is a big thing that's going to add 2 or 3 wins. Just even getting Fox to play defense all year, that's going to add 2 wins on its own.
I love, you know what I love, JVZ, is like we're sitting here like I see that, and you're just throwing random assigning random win totals to this.
Yeah.
Oh, coach, this I go a half win with this move. By the way, before we let you go, JVZ, a couple people in the chat were saying you sound like Keegan Murray.
Oh,
I don't hear it.
Maybe
I think JVZ's got a little more
like oomph
to his voice.
Yeah.
Sure, a little more. pizzazz, a little more energy.
Yeah.
Keegan's very much like, oh, I'm just very excited to be here, and just gonna keep working hard. And
That was a pretty good.
I'm just I like in and out. So it's just very cool. Anyway,
I think I sound like that normally, but I get excited when I come on with you guys. So it's
wow.
Well, JVZ, I appreciate you checking in, my man.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks, guys.
dude. And
JVZ.
I do love that, but I know he was throwing out the numbers and being like 2 wins here, 2 wins, but he's right in the sense that you don't have to put a number on it, but those things are all going to factor into why there will be more wins than this last year.
Let's see here. Let's get some people in the chat. We'll go back to Twitter Spaces in a second. Chris wants to know, are the Niners playing tomorrow? Yeah, I think they open the preseason against Green Bay tomorrow. Trey Lance.
I cannot believe that's even here.
I know,
What is
right?
tomorrow? Friday?
Friday Night Football.
Yeah. On what?
I don't know what channel it's on.
I don't know. I'll have to
Trey
look it
Lance, a
up.
big, hey. My quick Niners thought for a second. Of course, we used to be sports radio people and used to be doing a sports podcast. Now we focus on, well, tonight we're just hanging out, but NBA and Kings, right? I just find it, I mean, some of the talk from Shanahan during camp is just like, this team's so talented. This is one of the most talented teams we've had in San Francisco. Well, dude, then Trey Lance better be ready to go, because if you're gonna waste a great team with a question mark at quarterback, that's tough, because you only get so many chances to win a championship.
They obviously believe that if they did what they did in the to draft him, right? To get him in the first place. It's like they believe this. So everything he's saying, I truly believe he believes. I just don't think everyone's just like, okay, well, we'll believe it when we see it, because we haven't seen it all together.
Right.
In a game.
It's gonna be fascinating.
Wow. Yeah.
Tyler Russell said Deuce's Keegan impression sounded like Bill Belichick. Oh, Bill's a little different. We're just focused. We're not worried about our own offense. Mac Jones is fine. I mean, Mac Jones can play. Can he play? I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
God, you're gonna have to do that for a long time.
Hey, how was it?
That was honestly really good.
I was telling some people on Discord, I'm actually working on a James Ham.
No.
And a Brendan Nunes.
No, you're not doing either. You're not doing either.
I could do a Sean Cunningham too.
How?
You just
No.
wear a hat and you just kind of.
Is that what he says?
And then I'd be, if I'm doing the impersonation,
No, Sean,
it's how they act on the Kings Beat podcast.
Okay.
So it's very specific.
So not in
not
person.
real life. It's like how they are on the podcast.
Sean would just tell me like, "You're weird." That was a really good Sean.
The Brendan one, I would say I'm not ready for the Ham one. The Hams, I definitely have to work on the Ham. But the first thing you need with Ham is you need a fedora.
I don't want any of these impressions on our podcast unless they're here to witness them.
See, here's my thing with you, and this actually got brought up. Someone
What?
called you soft in our Discord today.
What the fuck?
And I agreed. Because
Why?
you have a tough, I know the lines could be blurred sometimes, but you have a difficult time distinguishing between like, hey, you're hating and being mean, or hey, that's kind of funny. Like,
I know that you're not hating or being mean.
If I do,
so that's why I don't
if I'm
care.
doing impersonations of Brendan Nunes as a joke, I'm not doing it like as a hateful thing.
I never said you
So why does it
were.
make you uncomfortable?
It makes me uncomfortable because I don't think that you would be very good at like doing those two guys. Like
Bet.
And see, I don't want to bet because I don't know that I want to experience this on the podcast.
Okay, pull over.
I don't know. Someone call me soft.
The rock bottom. Ham is easy to do an impression of.
Like
Pullover says, for Ham, all you gotta say is "let me say this" before stating your point.
How about like kind? I'm kind. That doesn't make me soft.
Brendan reminds me of the kid from Malcolm in the Middle. That's funny. Cody says, make Morgan do a James Ham impression. I don't know that I can make Morgan do that, but
You can't force me to do that. I don't have a James Ham. I think Sean was the only one that I have. You're weird. I don't know. It makes me laugh my own impression of Sean Cunningham.
That is pretty funny.
So stupid. Oh my God.
Let's see. AC wants to know, what casino sports book are y'all finding the 32 over under at? Went to Reno last weekend and did not see it. So I'm not like going around sports books. You see more into it than me. I just look at it more as okay, how are people feeling about the team? Like, what's the vibe around like the betting public about this team? But that was Caesar's Sportsbook that put that out. So, and I think if I want to look at this right, I had it written down here. The team with the highest over-under win total, the Boston Celtics, 54.5. And like, honestly, I think that's fair. They're bringing back the same squad, and they added Gallinari and Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
That's a pretty damn good team.
Yeah.
And then we're not even talking about like the Durant thing.
I was just about to say, and then they're adding Kevin Durant. No, because if they're adding Kevin Durant, then I, although I believe in Kevin Durant and his ability to play the game at like the best level in this league, it's still, you're tearing apart a basketball team. This is a team sport ultimately. And if you have to tear it apart to get him, then what are you? I couldn't tell you right away.
Let's see here. Gus says also, do you guys go to home games often? I would love to meet y'all. Yeah, I mean, if I'm at every home game, and if I'm not at every home game, it's because we have a game in Stockton for the G League.
Yep.
And
make sure you say hi.
Morgan's not at every home game.
Oh, I guess
if you're not doing TV, but you're going to be at a lot this year.
But the games that if I'm not at a home game. Oh, is this breaking news? We've said this before.
No.
We have
an update. Sources close to the situation. Morgan has officially signed a deal for next year with NBC Sports California.
You're acting like that.
Source closest, she may be doing more games this year.
Well, hopefully.
I'm not asking you to confirm at this hour.
Good.
But that's my source.
You have a different source. That's amazing.
Yeah, but definitely say what's up to us at the game. Of course, we say this all the time. Like, if you see me at a game, and just say hi. I'm really not that big of an asshole.
My breaking news was going to be the games that I am. Yep, thank you. That I'm not in person or working at, and if it's a home game, I'll probably be in here on playback.
Wow, Morgan's breaking news is that if 800 things happen, she'll probably be on playback. That's
I'm saying
news at this hour.
I would be here on playback. I'm not saying
you said probably. So it probably doesn't mean you're going to be here.
I will be here on playback is my point. I will be
Okay.
watching the game with anyone that wants to watch the game with me.
Hack says, I thought Morgan goes to San Francisco. She goes to San Francisco for the road
away
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, some people.
Congrats, Mo.
You guys stop. Stop it.
What was the other thing I was going to bring up? So Kings and Jazz both at 32.5 wins, only ahead of these teams.
Okay.
Pistons,
Orlando,
Indiana, Oklahoma City, Houston, and San Antonio. Here are some questionable teams that are ahead of the Kings in the win total.
Okay.
The Wizards, 35.5. If the Kings were around the same, I wouldn't even hate on that. But like 35.5, and the Kings are 32.5. That's crazy. They're not. The Wizards are.
What if Porzingis works this year?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and take that bet.
And what? And then
take that bet. Take the bet that part-time Porzingis is able to do that. I'm fine with the Wizards. I'm just saying, are they 3 games better than the Kings? This is not a let me dump on the Wizards thing. I'm like 3 games better. The Hornets, 37.5.
That one
I
is
actually
questionable.
But I actually think the Hornets number is actually good there because I think they're dropping. I don't think they're going to be as well. Obviously, the Bridges thing, but that's huge. But I just
in the coaching staff,
it's weird.
It's all weird. Yeah.
The Blazers 39.5. Are the Blazers 7 games better than the Kings? You could sit here and say that the Blazers are better if you want to.
Because I do think they're better.
Okay, they got Dame. They've got some defensive pieces with Jeremy Grant, Josh Hart. They re-signed Nurk.
Better.
Re-signed Simons. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And Dame will be healthy. Fine. 7 games better. horseshit.
Okay.
And then they had the Knicks, 7 games better. The Knicks?
Brunson, man.
Okay. Again, I like Brunson.
Yeah.
Time will tell what that looks like. And the biggest thing with the Knicks, do they end up getting Donovan Mitchell? What's that look like? Is Julius Randle, there's no way he can be as bad as he was last year. He was not good.
No, I think he's going to be a balance of the year before and last year. And he'll be a good player. He'll be a good player for them.
Yeah.
And that's what they need from him. They need him to be mentally there. There's just too many times when adversity hit and he wasn't there for his team, and it was really bad. You got to carry yourself differently.
Chris was saying thoughts on the Lakers, potentially the report of them running their offense through Davis. I mean, the idea of him having the ball, I mean, yeah, when he's out there. But, like, again, there's certain guys in the league that you just go, we'll see.
Part-timers.
Is AD, if he's healthy, that's going to change the fortunes for the Lakers dramatically this year. It doesn't mean they're going to be a championship
And
team.
it's
But
not talking shit about that player. Sometimes your body is just going to do what your body does. And then there's other times that you just wish, sometimes you're like, well, you can't work through that fractured finger. I don't know. And I know I say fractured finger in some people, but like, I've done it. Other people have done it. Like, it's doable. And I get not doing it if it happens in the first game of the season. I understand. Right. I understand there's certain things that can like play a part in this, but like with someone like Anthony Davis, I think there's going to be times that he has to fight through certain things as well. But there's other players out there that just their bodies just don't hold up right. It's different.
Our guy Armstrong Joseph claims the following.
Oh.
I asked Deuce for an autograph at the game, and I'm trying to read what the hell he said because there's a lot's jumbled up here. He snapped his fingers, had security rough me up, and next thing you know, is behind Golden One Center face first in a dumpster.
Yeah, you're so dumb.
I'm honestly shocked that I was able to translate what you wrote, Armstrong, because it was not pretty.
Snapped his fingers to security. Deuce with all this power at Golden One.
Yes, out.
Get him out of here. Trash cans.
Thank you, Square Bear, for the raid. First time viewer rated us. Square Bear, we're just hanging out, talking, whatever.
Yeah, thanks, Square Bear.
Yeah, I appreciate people hanging out with us. We'll stay on for a few more minutes. Almost 9 o'clock, you know.
I know, on a Thursday
I'm up
night.
early working.
Working out?
Clanging and banging.
Wow. Look at you.
Can't you tell?
Just like,
Can you tell I'm a little more
why haven't
ripped?
you put out your off-season like workout video?
Stop it.
What if, though, Deuce made one?
It would have to be funny, and I don't think it's that funny, one. And then I don't want to be the person that puts out, like, hey, these are all my work. There's too many people who do that. Sometimes I will admit on occasion, I will give ESAC Fitness some love because they're a sponsor, right?
Absolutely.
And I will, like, post a picture of the workout on the board and tag them in it.
Yeah.
Or if they tag me, I'll share it or whatever. But I do think it's weird when people, like, if you're a fitness person or a trainer.
Sure, and that is your
100%.
content. That is your content,
But, like,
yeah.
Joe Random Dude.
Posting that they work out on a
it's like
Wednesday and
they're
a
like showing- it's
Saturday.
like, cool.
And
Like,
then they're eating like a whole bunch of
yeah,
bullshit.
I mean, even that, I don't care. But, like, it's just more like, I mean, why is this content that I need to see? Like, and maybe they need affirmation.
well, I
Maybe
was
it's like,
gonna
hey,
say-
good job, keep it up. I guess
And
that's
it
could be.
helps
I'll stop being an
and
ass.
sometimes it
My
helps
bad.
them hold themselves accountable. And then there's other people that do it and they're like, I'm better than you because I got my ass to the gym. And in some ways I'm like, yeah, you're right, but also screw you. No, and then some people just like to share their life. I mean, it's just, that social media was made for so many different reasons, dude. So you can't, but I get it. Sometimes you can feel though, the intent of someone's working out, and it's just like, ucky. It's just weird. Is that fair?
The Rock Bottom says, Deuce should dress like Hulk Hogan and do some Hulkamaniac poses. That would be really funny.
No, it wouldn't. I don't want to see that at all. And I don't think anyone. How stupid would that be?
Yeah.
Like,
why are you hating on the Rock Bottom's idea?
no,
He's a
the
wrestling
Rock Bottom.
fan.
No, I love.
He'll rock bottom you.
I think it's very sweet that you brought that up, but just picturing it made me think about how stupid it really is.
Question for the people in the chat right now. Even if you're the person who's not really chatting and just hanging out, just respond to this if you can. How many of you here watch wrestling today?
Ooh.
Just
like
in
this day
era.
and age.
I mean, everyone knows who Hulk Hogan is. You could be just a person that
Sure.
doesn't want, Hulk, right?
Yeah.
But how many people here actually watch that wrestling? No. Rock Bottom says he does. Thank you.
Surprising.
Hack says his best impression was the Y2J one. I didn't really do. Oh, I just did the jacket.
Nin Sage says, nope, WWE is not my thing.
Okay. It could be AEW. Acknowledge me. Okay. Not past the 90s. Casually do. Yes,
Yep.
the British Bulldog. Okay,
I'm a cash.
okay.
I'm a cash.
I feel like I'm
You're
a
not a cash.
Okay, here's what I would say why I'm a cash. I don't watch. Okay, so there's a wrestling fan out there. Like I will be watching AEW sometimes, and there will be a star from New Japan that the crowd just pops for, and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Because I was growing up a WCW and WWE guy, and then now I'm still WWE, but I don't watch every episode. I
Deuce.
don't.
Super fan,
Yeah.
fan, cash, of. I'm cash. You're absolutely a fan.
I'm a fan. I watch
And you
as much as
read.
I can, but I read a lot about it. That's kind of nerd. If you're reading about what recaps,
That's a fan.
Okay.
That's a fan. Like you're literally like, even if you don't know who it is when they come down the stage, if I'm even saying it all right, you read about it so you know who they are.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
like you're a fan. Just because you don't have all the time in the world to watch every single damn wrestling network, league, show, whatever.
Promotion, yeah. Aldrin says, I don't watch AEW though. Yeah, I like AEW a lot. We're actually going to an AEW show in New York. Dude, check this out. Check this out. Like, talk about perfect timing. So we're going to NBA broadcast meetings in
September
in New York in September. And of course, like I guess this proves where I'm at from a nerd standpoint.
Okay.
I immediately go, oh, is AEW or WWE doing a show then?
See?
So I look, and it happens to be the time that AEW is putting on their Grand Slam event at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. It's on September 21st. That's Morgan's birthday.
I don't even
So
care.
me and Morgan,
I don't care.
Me and Morgan are going to an AEW show on her birthday.
The Cash
Let's go.
is going to an
Let's go.
AEW show. But, for being a Cash, like, that's the thing. I've been watching AEW since it started, since day one. And now I don't watch every week now. But I definitely watch every month. But at the same time, though, definitely just a Cash. But I'm so excited to see an AEW show.
And a big one. It's
that's my point.
Yeah.
It's like we've seen so many WWE shows, and that has been so great. But the other product out there that has been so competitive, it's like we nerd out about all the different things, and that's what I'm excited for.
And this is where, and the people in the chat, many people are saying, Deuce, you're not a casual. And here's where my pushback is. And this is how I am with sports fans too. To me, you're either like in it, or you're a Cash, and that's okay. I'm not hating it. Like, but if you're a Kings fan, that's like you can like watch a game every couple of weeks, and maybe you read about it, but you don't do it. You're a Cash. You still consume it, and you still root for the team, but you're a casual fan. That's okay. To me, if you're watching every game for the most part, like. Or you're like listening, you're consuming pod, you are hardcore.
Yeah, you're a hooper.
Casual. If you kind of are sporadic with it. That's how I feel about wrestling. I don't watch every show. Now, I get it. The more I talk about it, I'm like, okay.
But there's different tiers because that's sports entertainment, and this is like an actual sport.
I guess
you know what I mean?
Well, okay.
No, truly though.
No, but my point is, it's important to. you should watch I just don't watch every show. I have been watching
Right.
more lately. And once the NBA season starts, I don't have time. I don't have time to watch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
No,
and
dude.
so, and I don't want to DVR it, go back later. So I just read about it usually during the season, unless it's like, dude, you got to watch this. I'll watch pay-per-views for sure, and then I listen to the Ringer Wrestling show.
Oh my God.
And Going in Raw.
Jeez,
well,
dude.
Going in Raw, they do such a great job. Like even today,
I'll check out Going in Raw.
I'm just digging myself this hole.
Yeah,
where I'm
you're like-
so I watched Dynamite last night, and then I went back and listened to Going in Raw this morning to kind of hear their breakdown.
Oh my
and they do
God.
such a good job of going like
Dude,
match by
you're
match
a
by match.
freaking fan, man. And when I said like sports entertainment and then sports, I no disrespect. I wasn't calling it like they're not athletes because they're actually just absolutely incredible in so many different
I
ways.
get it.
But yes, like as a show, I just think it's more difficult sometimes to be like, do I want to invest in this show where a game, I don't know, because I guess there are different outcomes all the time with both, but
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah, I
bad.
don't know.
At least there's very rare that you'll watch an entire wrestling show and there not be something good.
well, especially in AEW
Well,
show.
WWE's been better since Hunter, my guy Triple H, the game.
Yeah.
I guess my whole point to sum that up is the reason I don't feel like I'm a hardcore fan or super fan or whatever is because I think those fans watch everything. They're watching
Super fans, man.
Yeah, and I had AEW Elevate or Dark on Tuesday.
Dude, see,
when I had
no,
everything
yeah,
going on.
yeah.
But yeah,
Stop.
Ninsage is, by the way, recording on the Ninsage Deuce and Mo jingle has officially begun. Just 4 or 5 more years, and it should be ready.
Ooh.
Sage, it's been so long since you even mentioned you were doing that I forgot you were doing that. So you need to get on it.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Appreciate you even wanting to do something. Very kind.
I mean,
Stop
sure.
it.
What I also, to that point, though, I would love, I know this is asking a lot,
What?
but I would love for more fan submitted songs.
Absolutely.
Because they always entertain. We had the guy last year who made the MJF version of Deuce and Mo.
Right.
And then we have, Davion Mitchell's nieces and nephews singing
Deuce
this.
and Mo, Deuce and
By the way, we've
Brian.
never asked anyone, and that's been the coolest part about all of this. And that's yep. It's just like it's been so fun hearing all them. Even think about when Brian Rose, like he has like that opera like voice, and he made his song as well. I think that was the Night Chat one.
Yeah.
I still have it. But anyway, yeah, it's just so unique, so cool. You guys are just something else.
Great question from Insane Cookies. And by the way, if you want to submit some of your own theme songs, you just go to deuceandmo.com, send us an email. And shout out to people here. Thank you for getting us over 100 thumbs up. That just helps our channel grow. I'm glad we're hanging out here on a Thursday night. Who is the better booker, Triple H or Tony Khan? So here's what I'd say. Triple H books the show. Kind of the guy that sets up the matches, storylines, all that stuff.
No, I get that.
I think Triple H has shown the ability to have a very creative mind, especially with what he did in NXT. I think this is the honeymoon period for him. You're taking over for a guy that, even if you think he's a legend, a lot of fans are like, yeah, but creative sucked for a long time, and I hate Vince. So he's got to prove it a little bit
Sure.
still, but I think he's brilliant. Where Tony, I think it's help. I think Tony does here's what I'll say about Tony. He does a lot of things that make the hardcore fan happy. Like a lot of and it's great when you can educate the fans on it, right? Like last night, Ricky Starks had a match against a guy who's not again, I forget his name off the top of my head because that's where I go. I'm not a hardcore.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's not on TV all the time, but apparently they used to be tag team partners 5-10 years ago. Look, I don't know that.
Yeah.
And the crowd in arena, for the most part, probably doesn't. But Tony does a very good job of coming up with creative tie-ins and relating it back to things that happened long ago. Even stuff between Adam Cole and the Young Bucks,
Yeah.
right? Relating it back to when they turned on him when he was going to WWE. So anyway.
Well, no, and with that though, you talk about what Triple H has been doing, and I pretty much know this just from the hardcore fans, and mostly it's there'll be so many young up and coming people that just get screwed over, that got screwed over, obviously when Vince was around, didn't, set them up the right way, whatever. But what I think is getting people right now excited, and because it is the honeymoon stage, he is like showing that respect for those young wrestlers that almost could have lost their careers because someone put them in the wrong position, Vince McMahon, and he is giving them that second chance and that belief and empowering them. And I think that empowerment alone to those wrestlers, to those
huge.
entertainment, right, to fans, to super fans, like they get that and they feel that from Triple H.
And the one point I would make to that is it's not only like, oh my God, he brought these guys back or brought these wrestlers back who got let go or didn't get the same like push. Those wrestlers, on the other hand, have to trust that going back into the WWE like grind and dealing with some of the stuff that they had to handle that maybe could have impacted, their reputation or like their character or whatever. They trust him.
Yeah.
And having a trust in Triple H, I think that speaks volumes. And you hear enough, you really want to play the what if game for a second. What if Triple H took over 5 years ago? Would AEW be even like a thing? Would Triple H have pushed the right guys? And because he liked a lot of these independent guys. A lot of these guys that are in AEW are guys that Triple H liked, right?
Well,
and they've tried to get Kenny Omega. They've tried to get the Young Bucks. It's crazy to think about. I'm glad it didn't happen that way because I think having two companies,
the competition,
it makes everybody better.
Just going even back to what Ross was saying, it's like, or maybe it was Dave that was saying that competition, like actually having that can factor in and make so many more people better, hold them accountable for shitty shows and do more.
And Eddie said, honestly, it isn't a honeymoon phase with Triple H already. He already had NXT to back up his work. Yes, but here's the difference. NXT, Triple H, the expectations for booking WWE, you're dealing with Fox as a huge partner in USA Monday Night Raw. NXT's on USA, but NXT is kind of like icing on the cake that is Raw and SmackDown for WWE.
Okay.
The expectations are just so much higher, right? You're developing talent there. This is like, you need to create stars and have compelling television and get ratings all the time. You're satisfying partners. You got to deal with, it's just a different
level. Right.
Yeah. Brooke was asking earlier what you thought about Logan Paul as a wrestler.
I hate even saying what I'm first about to say is like, I hate to admit it, but he is a good wrestler. Because I don't know why I don't really like him. I don't know any of his bad stories. I don't know if he's like a really nice bro or something. I don't know him well, and I don't follow his stuff, so I don't know. But if I'm just looking at him as a wrestler and an entertainer, what an incredible start to your career. And it's like, that's the way, if you're going to have the spotlight be shined on you like that, especially when all these other wrestlers are behind you, like, why the hell am I not getting this opportunity? You better kill it like that. And he did. And he shows that like he already belongs and didn't even have to go through half the grind of some of these wrestlers trying to make it to that point.
JPZ says Punk absolutely would have left. Yeah, no, Punk did. Then Triple H did not vibe for sure. Al Mack, how is Andrew Tate famous? Seems like a complete clown. Well, this is what I love about Night Chat. You don't know what type of things are going to get brought up, but I did not know who Andrew Tate was up until a couple of years ago, or a couple of weeks ago. Morgan, honestly, yeah. I don't get him.
No,
he is
no.
He is a clown. You're right, Matt. Oh, he's a clown and a half. It's a joke. I don't understand why he's even relevant. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Let's see here. Any other ones? Let's see. NXT is the minor leagues in baseball that lead up to the major leagues. You were gonna get the call up. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Anyway. Guys, it's been fun hanging out with you. We went 2 hours, 15 minutes hanging out and just chatting.
Love it.
We'll do this again. We'll try to mix these in at least like once a week up until the season starts. And then once the season starts, we're on Night Chat all the time.
Yeah. And again, it's just like we said, right now until the season starts, we're down to just talk about anything too.
Well,
it's just fun being able to engage with you guys.
Our podcast has shifted, right? It's like for years were sports, and then we kind of shifted our focus a couple years ago to just kind of hone in more on just the Kings and then the NBA. And this is like the slow time. So our mindset is we want to create content, but we don't want to just like do 4 podcasts, 5 podcasts a week just to do podcasts and be like, hey, we want to be
topics.
good. Yeah, so we want to have good topics. We want to have great guests, great conversations. And then, if there's any breaking news, of course we go live. Like if something big happens, we're on. Like no shit. But the one thing I missed during the off season is, when we're on at 10 a.m., we're not. This is not happening. This whole conversation is not happening with the people.
Yeah.
So it's nice to just like come on and just engage like we do on Night Chat after games a little bit. Well, I think it's good for everybody.
We'll
to kinda
pretty
hang
much
out.
do
It's
this
therapeutic
each week.
Yeah.
So just make sure to grab your beer and join us.
Yeah, and the other thing you could do
21
help us
older.
do is make sure to subscribe to our channels, hit the thumbs up and all that. In addition to that, one thing I want to ask the people who are here right now are like the hardcore of hardcore, which we appreciate. If you listen to us on Spotify or you don't, whatever, go on Spotify, give us like a rating, a 5-star rating. Go on Apple Podcasts, search Deuce and Mo. Make sure you're subscribed there too. You can take us on the go and give us some ratings on there because it's just we're growing this thing. It's been growing great. We just want it to keep going, and it's doing the little things like ratings on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I do a terrible job at reminding people of that. And so please do that.
Yeah. And thanks everyone that takes the extra time to do that. It really just, like we said, it helps the small business grow. So
Shout out to Ross too, who just donated $20. Let's go.
Thanks, Ross.
Got new members.
Hell yeah. That's very, very sweet of everyone donating tonight. Kenneth, obviously all the memberships. Thank you guys.
And Steven says there's only so much you can talk Quinn Cook. Yeah.
That's why you got to throw in death and wrestling, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You got to mix in some other things. Have some good conversations. Anyway, you guys are the best. We love you guys so much, but we gots to go.
Thanks for kicking it. We'll see you guys next week. See ya!
Deuce and Mo.